For the past year, I survived a total of 1,000 days in Pixelmon, so I compiled them all for you to enjoy. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the movie. Today, I'm gonna spend 100 days in Pixelmon, but I can only use Fire-type Pokemon. In order to become the ultimate Fire-type champion, I'll have to complete these 5 goals. First, I need to gather up 6 strong Fire-type Pokemon and get them all to level 100. Next, I want to get 3 Fire-type Shinies and 3 Fire-type Legendaries. And finally, for this challenge, I want to get a Fire-type Fusion. Can I complete all of these challenges in the next 100 days? Watch the rest of the video to find out. Also, make sure to subscribe, because once we reach 16,000 subscribers, I'll spend 100 days using nothing but Paradox Pokemon. Without further ado, here's 100 days of using nothing but Fire-type Pokemon. I started off my adventure by choosing Cyndaquil, which also happened to be a shiny. To get a major head start in my challenge, I started collecting these treasure chests all over spawn. They give tons of special items that will help me out a lot, including several common lucky blocks and an uncommon lucky block, a master ball, a paper that allows me to claim a specific Pokemon, and finally a fusion shard as my last reward. Since I did all that I could at spawn, I used the command /RTP to randomly teleport somewhere in the wild. I then continued to open up my lucky blocks and at least got 1 fire type out of it, which was Charmander. Sadly, the uncommon lucky block gave me a shiny Steelix, which I'm not able to use. Now that I've opened up all the lucky blocks, it was time to venture out. I remembered, however, that I had a specific Pokemon paper, which allowed me to claim any non-legendary Pokemon. Of course, I saw this as a golden opportunity to redeem Slitherwing. Okay, I made a big mistake here. Apparently, Slitherwing is a bug and fighting type, and I just assumed it was a fire type cause, you know, Volcarona and Iron Moth are. This sadly meant I couldn't use it. I started day 7 by making some money. I was paid $50,000 to help hunt a Cubone with the hidden ability Battle Armor. To do this, I was temporarily given a Porygon with the ability Trace that would allow me to identify what ability the wild Cubones had. Now I know Porygon is a normal type, but trust me, I didn't use this to help me in any other way other than just doing my job, and yes, I traded it back once the outbreak ended. I ended up using the money I earned to buy myself a Firestone, which I then combined with an orb that I got from hunting down the chests earlier to create an orb of fiery souls. If I defeat 375 Pokemon, it'll fill up and allow me to summon Moltres. But in order to take down lots of wild Pokemon, I needed strong Pokemon of my own, so I fed Charmander and Cyndaquil with enough candy to evolve them both. I then continued training them up, defeating several wild Pokemon before deciding to feed them some candy yet again to have Charmeleon evolve into Charizard and Quilava evolving into a Hisuian Typhlosion. And to end this day off, I claim my Battle Pass rewards, getting yet another specific Pokemon paper, which I used to get Blaziken. I also had 2 lucky blocks and finally experienced some good fortune as my uncommon lucky block upgraded into a rare lucky block. I was guaranteed a legendary Pokemon now. I was super excited, but unfortunately got a Regigigas. Since it's a normal type, I'm not allowed to use it. Now it was time to build a house. I collected a lot of wood and other materials. In the past, my houses have not looked the best, that's why I gave it my all for this one build. After a couple of days, this is what I managed to build. I totally did not rip this off from Google. Also, the only reason why it took me so long to build this house was because my internet was straight up doo-doo. At the start of the next day, I devoted my time to fill up the orb of fiery souls by defeating countless wild Pokemon. There's really nothing much to say here, that's literally all I did. Until the orb was finally fully charged. This allowed me to summon Moltres from its shrine, and well, I wasn't about to kill my hard work, so I threw my Master Ball at it, and I finally caught Moltres. After buying pieces of obsidian from the shop, I built myself a nether portal. I honestly thought this is where I'd be able to find lots of fire types, but for some reason, no Pokemon were spawning. And trust me, I looked as far as I could throughout the entire Nether, but there was just no Pokemon here. Feeling disappointed, I teleported yet again randomly somewhere in the wild to look for more fire-type Pokemon. I came across and caught both a Sizzlipede and a Darumaka, which meant I finally had a full team of fire-type Pokemon. I used some leftover EXP candies to evolve Sizzlipede into Centiskorch, and then Darumaka into Darmanitan. Also, this guy somehow found my house, which was kind of strange. I decided not to think about it too much, and instead focus my attention towards beating the gym leaders. I faced off against the first gym leader, which specialized in electric-type Pokemon. Typhlosion took out both Jolteon and Yamper before being taken out by a Geodude that barely held on because of its ability Sturdy. Centiskorch came in and wiped the floor with the rest of the Pokemon until a Voltorb decided to self-destruct, declaring me the winner, and awarding myself the first gym badge as well as a few good items such as a fusion shard. Before challenging the second gym, I trained up my team a bit at the level grinder, and after a while, I went back and challenged the second gym leader. They stood no chance against my fire-type Pokemon, and now I had the second gym badge. Feeling confident, I wanted to continue my streak, until I saw that the third gym leader wasn't even here. I was kind of confused, but decided to see if I could just challenge the fourth gym leader, and well, yeah, I could. Unfortunately, they had a team full of super powerful ground-type Pokemon that laid waste to my team in a matter of seconds. To try and lift up my spirits, I decided to open up some vote crates, and well, I had around 180 vote keys. You see, every time you vote for the server, which is completely free by the way, you get these vote keys that allow you to open up vote crates. This gives you either half-decent items like Pokeballs and whatnot, all the way to fusion shards, master balls, and even shiny Pokemon. And when you open up 180 vote crates at once, sometimes you get blessed with a little bit of luck. I just got a fusion core, the rarest item you can get from this crate. It is worth around $250,000 on the server, and this is the most important item you need when it comes to making fusion Pokemon. After opening up all the crates, I trained up my team quite a bit before rebattling the fourth gym leader. I did much better this time, but I still ended up losing. So I knew that I needed to improve my team, so I used up all the rare candies I had to get Charizard, Typhlosion, and Moltres to level 100. I also saw that I was just one fusion shard away from making myself a fusion key. So I checked the GTS and sadly did not see any for sale, so I asked in chat if I could buy it from someone, and eventually struck a deal to buy one for $25,000. I finally had everything I needed to craft myself a fusion key. All I needed to do now was to make a fire type fusion. Now I could go for a fusion between Charizard and Aggron to make Agrizard, but instead of doing fusions I've done already, I wanted to create one I haven't done before. My search eventually led me to a savanna biome, where I was lucky enough to find a wild Pignite. This was great, as all I needed now was a Meltan to create the fusion known as Melbor. After I evolved Pignite into Emboar, I went straight into a cave so that I could mine tons of cobblestone to make lots of furnaces. I then spent the next few days mining ores, and also found a tidal bell which, if I'm lucky enough, could spawn Lugia one day. Now that I had a ton of ores, I started smelting them all in the furnaces. Unfortunately, when I went to collect the smelted ores, Meltan did not spawn. But to be fair, it's expected when it only has a 1 in 3072 chance of spawning from smelting ores. At first, I thought about going back to mine more ores, until I realized Pixelmon did have an update and actually Meltan spawns from mystery boxes now. I was about to spend good money in buying all the required materials to craft one, until a server admin basically told me mystery boxes were disabled. But then they said that smelting ores should still spawn Meltan, so that's all I needed to hear to start mining again. And once I had a full inventory worth of ores, I started smelting it all in hopes this was enough. I eagerly collected all of the smelted ores thinking it would obviously spawn, but I got super shocked when I realized I had collected everything and Meltan still did not spawn. I decided to try one last time, and even though I smelted so many sacks of ores, I still did not get Meltan to spawn. Just to put it into perspective, I smelted so many ores that I actually became number 2 on the smelting leaderboards. At this point, I just gave up on getting Meltan, so I looked elsewhere for potential fire-type fusions. When I opened up the GTS, I saw an Entei for sale for $150,000, which is just way too expensive for an Entei. But I knew as long as I did buy one, I could fuse it with my Moltres to get Eruptress. So I grinded at the boss tower, defeating boss-type Pokemon to collect their drops, then selling it at the Pokemart. I basically did this over and over again until I had enough money to buy Entei. And just to make this fair, even though I bought a legendary Pokemon, I'm not going to count it towards our goal of catching 3 fire-type legendaries, as I'm just going to use it to fuse anyways. So now it was time to place both Moltres and Entei into the fusion machine, and out came Eruptress. It just looked so incredible, and it was super big too. Getting Eruptress meant that we can now tick off one goal from our list. To finish this day off, I took some leftover rare candies we had and used them to level up our entire team to almost level 100. Sadly, Darmanitan was missing out on 5 levels. Also, as I was just minding my own business, I saw a shiny Griffloon fly by in the corner of my eye. Thankfully, I was able to catch up and eventually caught another shiny. It doesn't count as it's not a fire type, but hey, a shiny is a shiny. I continue my adventure by building a battle arena right next to my house. I figured that fighting random people on the server will allow me to see whether or not my team is strong or not. I also made sure Darmanitan leveled up to level 100 so that I had a full team of level 100 Pokemon. Now that I was ready, I asked in chat to see who would like to have a Pokemon battle, and eventually I found a challenger. For the first battle ever with this team, I actually did pretty well. I managed to take out half of their team before being destroyed by Garchomp. This battle was super helpful in understanding my team. I knew that there were still more fire types I could catch to make my fire type team even stronger, such as this Delphox that took me nearly an entire day to catch. I also fished at this lava pool for more fire types, but after a couple of minutes, I was only encountering Torkoal and Magcargo. That's when I decided to warp into the Ultra Space dimension, thanks to a kind player by the name of Telgor. Here I explored the Ultra Space biomes in search of special fire-type Pokemon, but what I stumbled upon shocked me, as I came across a Pheromosa. This is an Ultra Beast that has a super rare chance at spawning. Even though I caught it, I don't plan on using it, since it's a bug type. But I did come across this Magmortar, which I actually caught, but spoiler alert, I never used it. My luck, however, was at an all-time high, as I came across yet another Pheromosa. Since I already caught one, I allowed another player to have it. Oh, would you look at that. This is the third Pheromosa I've seen so far. I just gave it to some random player and walked off. While I was exploring the Ultra Space, I happened to come across yet another shiny. This shiny Swalot wasn't a fire type, so sadly it doesn't count. But regardless, I'm happy I found a shiny anyways. After days of hunting, I finally came across what I've been looking for all this time. It was this future paradox version of Charizard called Iron Wings. After using up all of my Ultra Balls, I was finally able to catch Iron Wings. I quickly swapped out Centiskorch for Iron Wings and spent the rest of the day training it up to level 100. Surprisingly, once it reached level 100, it was able to learn a custom move called Plasma Blaze. I didn't even know these Paradox Pokemon had custom moves, but I guess you learn something new every day. Once I had my team prepared, I went back to challenge some gym leaders and saw that the third gym leader was finally here. It was no match for my fire-type Pokemon though, as I was able to get the third gym badge without too much trouble. But when I tried to battle the fourth gym leader, I wasn't allowed to bring along my fusion Eruptress. This meant I had to substitute it for this battle, and yeah, it did not go well. The ground type team was just way too strong against my fire type Pokemon. I decided to take my Pokemon elsewhere and challenge the Sired NPC at spawn. I wasn't doing too bad, until he sent out Landorus, which just so happens to be a legendary ground type Pokemon. So the battle went as expected. I knew I had to improve my team, and I could do that by EV training my Pokemon. Since I already used them a lot, I had to feed them specific berries that would decrease EV points of things like defense or HP, which I didn't really care about. so that I could focus on improving the more important stats like speed and attack. This took me a while, but eventually I had my whole team fully EV trained to perfection. But since gym leaders have cooldowns, I'll have to wait till I can do my rematch again later and actually focus on my main goals, such as catching 2 more fire type shinies and catching 2 more fire type legendaries. Luckily, I was able to fly to a desert biome, and within a couple of minutes, I had already found a shiny Cacnea. Still not a fire type, but it was still pretty cool. It didn't take me too long and I already found another shiny, and luckily this was a shiny Numel, which counts towards my goal as it's a fire type Pokemon. I camped around the desert for a very long time until I finally came across a Groudon. Surprisingly, I caught it with a Pokeball. Now I understand that Groudon is not a fire type, but once I get the red orb and equip it on Groudon, he will be able to transform into his primal form, which is both a ground and fire type. But for now, I focused on training up Groudon by first EV training it and then leveling it up to level 100. Although I still needed to get a red orb to officially secure myself a fire type legendary, I would still need to catch a third one to actually complete my goal. So when I flew around and spotted this massive platform in the middle of a savanna biome, I decided to use it as Victini could spawn here. Platforms are extremely useful as it spawns all the Pokemon on this flat surface, making it very easy to see the wild Pokemon. But let's say you want to clear the platform. All you'd have to do is teleport away, wait a few seconds, and then warp back. All the Pokemon will despawn when you do this, allowing more Pokemon to spawn, increasing your chances of finding shinies or even legendaries. I did this for a while and managed to find myself a shiny Flittle. And by the time we reached day 85, I finally spotted our last fire type shiny. It was this beautiful blue shiny Ponyta. Catching this meant we had finally caught 3 fire type shiny Pokemon. Anyways, while I was still on the platform, I found this really cool Honedge. But I also found a lot of people here. I'm not sure why they decided to teleport to me, but I guess I had more people to practice battling with. I had a Pokemon battle against Clouds that I ended up losing, but I was able to bring it back against Ilham and win, which was crazy considering that he had both a Primal Groudon and a Primal Kyogre on his team. Now I did spend a while in the Nether building this platform in hopes for Heatran to spawn, but I'll be honest, I kind of just bought a Megastone crate using the leftover vote points I had and sort of just forgot about it. Unfortunately, I got a Megastone for Blastoise, which really sucked. But hey, an event was about to take place. An admin would hide a gold statue of Vulpix somewhere around spawn, and the first person to find it wins a special prize. There were 2 rounds and I really tried to win one of them, but sadly I lost both rounds. Now I know I'm running out of time, but I still used up an entire day to hang out with some awesome people, which allowed me to walk through their entire town and just look at their amazing houses. I did try to give this guy the Blastoise Megastone, but someone else yoinked it. But after a while in return, they gave me a Charizardite Y. I was extremely happy until I realized I can't even Mega Evolve my Charizard until I get myself a Mega Band from defeating a Mega Boss. Well, whatever. I still needed to catch another fire type legendary, and I did so by finding a Badlands biome, then digging down till I found a natural lava source. I met basically all the requirements for a Heatran to spawn, and to pass the time I started fishing here hoping to find a Mega Shards to craft a red orb. It took a long time, but finally Heatran spawned while I was fishing, the third and final fire type legendary I needed for this challenge. But it's not over yet. I still needed to fish up 10 Omega Shards so that I could make a red orb for Groudon. I moved to a desert biome to fish in lava because apparently I can only fish it up in specific biomes. I didn't have a lot of time left, but I fished as much as I could, getting Omega Shards every now and then. Slowly but surely, I was feeling more confident with every shard I fished up. I also had some kind of glitch where I would fish up Pokemon, but I wasn't able to battle them, which actually made fishing go by much faster. Eventually this glitch was fixed and I actually saw some sparkles in the lava which came from a shiny Magmar that I was able to catch. Eventually I fished up the last shard and was able to create the red orb. I quickly put it on Groudon, and just to make sure, I battled some random Pokemon, and yeah, there it was. Primal Groudon. The last and final fire type legendary I needed for this challenge. Now that I had basically achieved all of my goals, and also found the shiny Raticate around my house, I decided to have one last Pokemon battle against the Sired NPC. I started the battle by sending out Heatran, which quickly got one-shotted by a high jump kick. Charizard was able to clutch up though and defeat both Cinderace and Ludicolo before going down to his Kartana. I sent out Eruptress to deal with Kartana, then out came Landorus. Sadly, Eruptress fainted, so I sent out my Primal Groudon to hopefully take it out, and I was so close to doing so. Sadly, Landorus did not hold back and destroyed my entire team. If only Groudon had taken it out, I could have won. Well, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more 100-day videos, and I'll see you later. Bye! Today, I'm gonna spend 100 days, but I can only use Water-type Pokemon, and in order for me to become the Water-type champion, I'll have to complete these 5 goals. First, I'd need to gather a strong team of Water-type Pokemon, and get them all to level 100. Next, I want to catch a Water-type Legendary, and create 1 Water-type fusion. Finally, I want to beat the Sired Boss Trainer. Can I complete all of these goals in just 100 days? Well, let's find out. I start my adventure by picking Mudkip, of course. To get a head start with my adventure, I explored around spawn finding these treasure chests which would give me good items, including these special Pokemon Lucky Blocks. After scouting around spawn for a while, I warped into the special Christmas place where I could find gifts that would give me extra items too. In the end, I had a lot of items, and started redeeming all of my prizes, earning me many Pokemon that I just couldn't use. I also opened up my Pokemon Lucky Blocks, and luckily one of them contained a Spheal, which is a water type, meaning that I can actually use it. Now this uncommon Lucky Block would guarantee a shiny Pokemon, and while I was hoping for a shiny water type, I wasn't too disappointed with a shiny Eevee, as that could evolve into Vaporeon. But before I continue with my adventure, I decided to do something special by naming my Pokemon after my subscribers. So if you ever want a Pokemon named after you, you might want to click that subscribe button. Setting the self-promo aside, I took the time to train Mudkip up in the wild until finally Mudkip evolved into Marshtomp. While I was swimming around in the ocean, I noticed a couple of ores underwater that, when mined, actually dropped Waterstone shards. I knew that if I collected 9, I could craft myself a Waterstone. So I basically went diving for an entire day until I resurfaced with just enough shards to allow my shiny Eevee to evolve into a shiny Vaporeon. At the beginning of day 6, I was able to hatch a random egg that I received earlier. Unfortunately though, it was a Swinub. I continued to explore and look around for possible water-type Pokemon to add onto my team, and right after I hatched my other egg, I actually came across a Finneon, and yes, I had to get my guidebook out to even remember this Pokemon, so I thought it would be nice to give it some love by adding it onto my team. Now that I had a few Pokemon, I made my way to the first gym leader and realized I was heavily under-leveled. So to make up the level gap, I took the time to train up my Pokemon, even trying to take down raids, but since it was a new day, I could claim my daily reward, and luckily enough, it was an incredibly rare item, a rare Lucky Block. Opening this up will guarantee me a random legendary Pokemon, and all I could hope for was a water-type legendary. Luckily my prayers were heard, as out came Kyogre, one of, if not the best water-type legendary Pokemon. This made me extremely happy, and I ran as fast as I could to the first gym leader. I was ready to sweep it with Kyogre. However, it glitched saying I defeated it when I never did. After notifying some admins about the issue, I opened up the GTS in the meantime and was shocked to see 8 fusion shards being sold. This was crazy because all I needed now was a fusion core to make myself a fusion key, which is the item you need if you want to fuse 2 Pokemon together on this server. I mean, just look at all the possible fusions. So I knew I had to grind that money, and the most efficient way was to warp my way into the boss tower and start defeating boss Pokemon, picking up their drops and then selling it to the Pokemart to make more money. Not only was I getting richer, but by defeating boss Pokemon, my own Pokemon started to level up and evolve. This made my team so much stronger and made me much more confident in taking down the first gym leader. Unfortunately, when trying to battle, it gave me a list of banned Pokemon, and sadly Kyogre was on the list. With our team down one very awesome Pokemon, we continued with the gym battle and absolutely dominated, earning me the first gym badge, as well as a few items. Feeling confident with my team, I challenged the second gym leader this time. Sure, it was a bit tricky, but in the end, I also got my second gym badge without too much trouble. Now that I had 2 gym badges, I traveled back to the boss tower to grind up even more money, also getting Celio to evolve in the process. Now I finally had 8 fusion shards in my inventory, and all I'm missing is 1 fusion core, but we'll get back to that later. For now, I opened up some vote crates where I got a lot of spare items, and luckily even a master ball. Now my team was missing 1 member, so I went on a bit of a hunt for a strong water type Pokemon, and huge shoutouts to this kind player for allowing me to teleport to them, because right now I was in the Ultra Space dimension. I went looking around for a Pokemon, and what ended up catching my eye was a silly looking Shellos. I then used my EXP candy to evolve the Shellos into a Gastrodon, and after spending my time beating up some rays in the Ultra Space, I came across a wild Dracovish, and remembered that it was strong and competitively viable, I think. I ended up catching Dracovish anyways and replaced Lumineon with it. Finally, with a team full of strong Pokemon, I decided to take down the 3rd gym leader, but of course there had to be a problem. It seems my Kyogre and Dracovish were banned from participating in gym battles, which just meant that I had to go out in the wild and catch myself a random water-type Pokemon, and now it was time to actually fight the 3rd gym leader. Luckily, this gym leader only used ground-type Pokemon, so it proved to be no sweat at all, as I was able to get my 3rd gym badge very easily. Now, I wanted to build myself a base, so I started to gather the materials. However, I don't want to build any normal Minecraft house like I've done so in the past, as I wanted to build one underwater. This wasn't too difficult to do. I mean, it's just placing blocks underwater and then placing a few sponges until I had somewhat of a base. I decided to decorate later and instead focused on the amount of fusion shards I had. Seriously, all I needed was 1 fusion core and I could start fusing Pokemon. Now, one of the ways to get a fusion core is to complete these quest scrolls. We had a lot of tasks to get through, so it was best to do them quickly. And I started off by catching 25 Ice-type Pokemon. This wasn't a very hard task to do, as all I did was throw some quick balls on a couple of Ice-type Pokemon, and I was already done with the first task. The next task brought me into the Nether, as I could easily find Ghost-type Pokemon here, and started my kill streak gathering up 35 dead bodies, I guess, because, you know, they're ghosts. Anyways, after my poor attempt at comedy, I was another task down and moved on to evolving 8 Pokemon, and finally my last task of leveling up Pokemon. I did this by giving them rare candies, getting Kyogre all the way up to level 100, but at last I had finished all the tasks and was ready to claim my prize, which ended up being a fusion core. Excitedly, I crafted myself a fusion key and headed down to the fusion area, where I took a quick look at all the awesome fusion Pokemon I could potentially get. One thing that caught my eye was a Swampert and Kyogre fusion. However, I didn't want to risk my shiny Swampert. I mean, this guy was my starter too, so instead I went back to my base and used a specific Pokemon paper to claim this sacrificial Swampert and used it to fuse with Kyogre to create the fusion known as Swampogre, which looked incredibly powerful and was pretty big too. Moving on, I claimed my Battle Pass rewards, which gave me a lot of items, including these Pokemon Lucky Blocks. Unfortunately, I got no water types, but I did get a shiny Kakuna. I also had this specific Pokemon paper and thought about what to add until I used it to add Palafin on my team. With my team being really strong, I thought it would be easy to take down the 4th gym. However, half of my Pokemon were banned, so I had to sit out Swampogre and Dracovish for 2 weak water types. And to my surprise, when I fought the gym leader, they actually had a water type team just like me. Sadly, I lost and knew I had to improve my team, and I thought the best way to do this is to complete a legendary scroll. I had no idea what the rewards would be, but I was hoping it would be something really good. First thing I had to do was defeat over 300 Pokemon. This was a huge task, taking me hours to complete, but finally, I was 1 task down. However, I did fill up the Orb of Frozen Souls and used it to summon Articuno. Not like I could use it since it's an ice type, but it is worth some money when I eventually sell it. I continued my legendary quest, taking down as many ground types as needed, which wasn't so hard as most of them commonly spawned in the desert. Then I moved on to catching ground type Pokemon. Not gonna bore you with the details, but looks like we're done here and only have 2 quests left. I made my way to the level grinder in order to level up my Pokemon 200 times, but also use this area to evolve random Pokemon for the evolving task. That way I could finish both tasks at once. And after a few hours, the legendary scroll was complete. I was very excited to redeem my reward. Unfortunately, my expectations far outweighed what I got, as it was just a few fusion shards and some money. I can't really do anything with this alone, as I still needed a fusion core, but I guess I'll get that later. For now, I claimed some more Battle Pass rewards. This got me a lot of items. More importantly, this Pokemon egg, as the lucky blocks were a bit disappointing. I went on to hatch this egg at the AFK hatcher, and out came this weird looking Eevee. I decided to use a water stone on it, and now had this Vaporeon, which looked kinda cool. Moving on to day 50, I wanted to catch myself more strong water types, and I was looking through the swamp biome hoping to come across a Froakie. However, I was having no luck, so I towered up and created the spawning platform, which improved spawn rates and allowed me to have an easier time hunting for Froakie. Me being an idiot, however, died as you can see from my death map, and I couldn't really follow this map at all, so it seems like I was lost in the wild. I had to do some exploring if I wanted to find my way back into another swamp biome, but my search would come at a stop once I saw this wormhole in the sky. I wasn't too sure what I would do in the ultra space, but I knew I could find some strong water types here. I mean, just look at this Pokemon. It looks like a sushi roll, which is kinda making me hungry right now. I thought my search led me nowhere, but I did end up finding a shiny Choodle, so I guess that's something. I did a Dynamax raid and was surprised to see that my reward was a Park Ball. I didn't know raid rewards could be this good. But as I was going to leave, a Storm Leviathan spawned. This is a custom Paradox Pokemon of Dragonite. Luckily, I was able to catch it, and actually add it to my team since it was also a water type. I traveled back to the level grinder in order to train my entire team up, and training I did. After a few days, I had everyone at level 100. Now for the next few days, I wanted to get more use with my team, so I fought against some of the server's NPC trainers around spawn, which proved to be no trouble for me. This gave me the courage to face the 4th gym leader again, but I completely forgot half my team isn't even allowed in this battle, and ended up losing badly as a result. However, I wanted to try and battle the Cyber Boss trainer. Luckily, I could use my fusion Pokemon, but oh my gosh, this trainer has Pokemon at level 140. I was only able to take out Spiritomb until I was destroyed by his Mega Lucario. This disappointed me a lot. I was not strong enough to defeat the boss trainer, but I had an idea once I went back home and saw all of these fusion shards. If I could get a fusion core from this epic quest scroll, then I could make another fusion key. So off I went in search of a bug type Pokemon, but before I could see any bug types, I actually caught a glimpse of some sparkles in the sky and realized that I had just found a wild shiny Skarmory. The chase was on, and I was ready to catch it. After a few failed attempts, I tried to engage it in a Pokemon battle, but for some reason I was still flying away. And after a while, the chunks in the area unrendered, as I was still just flying. Having to forcefully break out of the battle, I flew back only to see that it wasn't here anymore. I put myself back on track to finish this epic quest scroll by defeating and catching bug-type Pokemon, again not the hardest thing in the world, and then I had to hatch 6 eggs for my final task, which I did all at once, but then I realized it only counted 1 egg at a time, so I had to breed more Pokemon, get more eggs, and hatch them all individually until I finally finished the epic scroll. Thankfully, I got the fusion core and crafted myself another fusion key. I ran back to the fusion room to see what other water type fusions I could make, and that's when Dragon Ninja caught my eye, a fusion between Dragapult and Greninja. So it was time to head back into the swamp biome where I looked around for a Froakie. However, I wasn't so lucky, but had an idea to fish for Greninja instead. This plan worked out in the end, as I was able to fish up a Frogadier. After catching and evolving it into Greninja, I used the last of my Pokemon paper to get myself a Dragapult, and now it was time to fuse both Greninja and Dragapult to get myself Dragon Ninja. Going back to my base, I thought it would be nice to do some remodeling. So I spent the next few days expanding my base, making it much bigger, and even bought these decorative pieces that really made my underwater base look so much better. But now that we're reaching day 82, I warped into the end dimension where I did a lot of raids all by myself. Of course, the moment I returned to the overworld, I also spotted another wormhole. I entered this one in hopes to find another strong Pokemon, and as I was flying through, I found a Paradox Blastoise called Slashing Shell. It just looked way too cool not to catch. I also spent some time getting the Paradox Blastoise to level 100, where I learned a special custom move called Grand Cannon. I thought it would be cool to test out these new Pokemon in the battle tower, but of course, basically all of these Pokemon were banned, so I pulled up with a ragtag team of water types and got completely washed. Now, I wasn't too sure on what to do in order to get a slightly stronger team, but it did see that I had 6 fusion shards and a dream. But first, I made a quick stop at the boss tower to beat up a few boss Pokemon, gather some of their loot, and sell it back at the Pokemart to get rich. I did this because there was a Rapid Strike Urshifu on the GTS, which as you know is part water type, so it works for my team. Now I had one more epic scroll left over. First thing to do is defeat 100 Pokemon, a simple and easy quest, only taking me a day to do. Next, I had to beat up 37 electric type Pokemon. Again, not a difficult task as Pokemon such as Mareep or Electrike spawn pretty often. After that, I had to catch around 20 dark type Pokemon. This was kind of hard as dark type Pokemon weren't spawning a lot, but I was able to get it done pretty quickly, and finally, I had to hatch 8 eggs. With the rare scroll done, I was excited to get myself another fusion key, but sadly I only got 2 fusion shards and 1 fake crate key. I had no idea what a fake crate was, but it seemed like I had a 50% chance to get either a shiny or normal Pokemon. Of course, with my luck, I only got a regular Nincada. I met up with a few of my subscribers, and together we walked around the Ultra Space Dimension and also took down many raids together. Also, shoutouts to PokeJake for giving me this very cool Fione. Now with only 2 days left till the final battle, I didn't really know what to do. All I really did was fly around, take down a few more raids until I looked back at my team as the 100th day finally came around. After traveling back to the boss tower, it was finally time to take down the Sired boss trainer. I sent out Dragon Ninja to get 2 Dragon Dances off before trying to fight back, only dealing half of Spiritom's health before fainting. I then sent out Swampogre because I thought it could tank some hits, but oh my goodness, it's almost dead. I switched out to Dragonite to clean up Spiritomb, but suddenly met my match as the Sired boss trainer decided to end my dreams by sending out Arcernatus. This was one of the strongest fusions ever, and rightfully so, as all my Pokemon ended up dying, dealing a total of 20% damage on Arcernatus in the end. Well, as anticlimactic as that was, thank you everyone for watching and joining me on this journey. Remember to subscribe for more 100-day videos, and I guess that's it. Bye! Everybody knows a Pokemon trainer from Palatown, Ash Ketchum. Well, in this video, I'm gonna spend 100 days in Pixelmon as Ash Ketchum, with the goal to be the very best like no one ever was. And in order to live out as Ash Ketchum for the next 100 days, I have some challenges I need to complete. First, I want to catch 25 of Ash's Pokemon that he caught in the anime. Next, I'd like to get a strong team to level 100, and finally, on day 50, I'll have my battle against Champion Leon, and on day 100, I'll battle against the Sired NPC, which is the strongest NPC trainer on the entire server. It has defeated me in previous 100-day videos before, but this time I was ready to take him down. Can I complete all of my goals and become a true Pokemon master? Watch the rest of the video to find out. Also, huge shout out to both Arpus and Wilson for the video idea, and without further ado, here's 100 days as Ash Ketchum. As we start my journey, it was time to choose my starter Pokemon. Sadly, Pikachu was not an option, so the closest Pokemon I could get was Pichu. It was also level 32, which is quite strong for a starter Pokemon. As you can see, my outfit does not suit the occasion, so give me one moment to change. And there we go. I am ready to go on a Pokemon adventure now. I warped into the wild where I found myself in the middle of a desert. I wandered around for a while and came across a Galarian Farfetch'd. This is actually a Pokemon Ash used in the anime, so that means I'm allowed to catch it and use it myself. After adding Farfetch'd to my team, I traveled back to spawn and collected these treasure chests around spawn. I wasn't trying to get all of them just yet, but getting a few of them gives me enough items to have a great head start with my challenge. I later redeemed some random Pokemon and luckily got a Fletchinder, which is also used by Ash in the anime. I was super happy to have yet another of Ash's Pokemon on my team. Unfortunately, the Lucky Blocks did not give me any usable Pokemon, including the uncommon Lucky Block which spawned in a shiny Doduo. Now I visited this berry salesman, and luckily he sold berries that would increase my Pichu's happiness. So all I had to do was overfeed Pichu for a couple of minutes, and finally I had my Pikachu. I continued exploring in the wild, looking to fill up the remaining spots in my team before facing the first gym leader. As I passed through this swamp biome, I came across a wild Froakie, which I happily added to my team. For the next 2 days, I caught both a Starly by the mountains and a Palpitoad in another swamp biome, and now that I had a full team of 6, I made my way to the first gym leader, who actually only uses 3 Pokemon. Anyways, the battle started with my Pikachu against his Pawniard. I kept on spamming Thundershock until Pawniard fainted. He then sent out Sneasel, which defeated Pikachu to no one's surprise. I decided to use my Galarian Farfetch'd, and with a move like Brick Break, I was able to one-shot Sneasel. Out came his Houndour that fire blasted my Farfetch'd, so I sent out Palpitoad to take out Houndour with Bubble Beam and got my first gym badge. Now before continuing my adventure, I knew I needed a base to store all my items in, so I searched for a while until I came across this nice spot of land on top of a mountain. I started clearing the land until a subscriber saw me in-game and handed me a Master Ball. I don't know what I'd even use this on, since Ash never catches a legendary Pokemon in the anime, but what he does catch in the anime is Charmander, which was roaming around the mountains. Anyways, I continued working on my house until I was able to finish it on day 11. It wasn't anything fancy, but at least we had a place to store items in. Now I tried to battle the second gym leader, but for some reason it was glitched. So I fought the first gym leader again, and even though I've got the first gym badge, it seems that the second gym leader was just bugged. So with the spare time I had, I walked around battling wild Pokemon, getting Froakie to evolve into Frogadier, and Starly evolving into Staravia. I also wanted to evolve my Galarian Farfetch'd, but it's a bit different, as instead of leveling it up, I'm supposed to land 3 critical hits in a single battle for it to evolve. Of course, I had a plan. I bought myself a Landsap Berry, and bought Obsidian so that I could travel into the Nether. It took a bit of time, but eventually I defeated a fire-type Pokemon that dropped Blaze Rods. I used this Blaze Rod to craft myself a brewing stand, which I used to brew alongside a Landsap Berry to get some dire hits. Taking these items into battle increases the chance of a critical hit to land. Of course, now I just had to land 3 critical hits in a single battle. So I battled the trainers around spawn, sometimes only landing 2 critical hits before winning the battle. Oh yeah, I also found a Master Ball from a treasure chest I just happened to find around spawn, so I put away the spare one I got from the kind subscriber before. That way you guys can't say I'm doing this challenge unfairly. Anyways, back to spawn, I fought against Santa Claus, and out of all the battles, this was the one where I landed 3 critical hits in one battle. The only battle where my Farfetch'd happened to faint. Thankfully, all I had to do was heal it and send it out, and it already began evolving by itself. And finally, I had Sir Fetch'd on my team. Since the gym was still not working, I wandered around in the wild for a bit, catching myself a Phanpy. I was also battled by this strong trainer who had level 100 Pokemon. Yeah, I just ended up losing. I mean, what do you want me to do? My highest level Pokemon is 40. Anyways, I ended up replacing Staravia for my team with Charmander, hoping this would make my team slightly stronger. I also got it to evolve the next day into a Charmeleon. Once I ended up in the snow biome, I knew I could train my Charmeleon here, but also catch a Snorunt just like Ash did. Charmeleon wasted no time destroying the Ice-type Pokemon here, even getting my Fletchinder to evolve into Talonflame from the EXP share. I ended up catching both a Pidove and a Corphish, until finally it was time for Charmeleon to evolve into Charizard. I used my Charizard to fly around the server, allowing me to easily find some of Ash's Pokemon, such as his Krabby on this remote island, as well as his Chimchar, his Gligar, and finally his Heracross, bringing the total to 15 of Ash's Pokemon caught. I was very excited about having Gligar, so I added it onto my team. I really wanted to evolve Gligar, and knew it needed a held item, but it was a bit too expensive. So I went into the boss tower at spawn to defeat boss Pokemon so that I can collect their loot and sell it back at the Pokemart for money. Eventually, I was able to buy a Razor Claw for Gligar, and for those of you that know my mistake, it takes me a while to figure out. But now that I supposedly had the right item on Gligar, I had to wait until nighttime till I could evolve it. But I was confused when it wasn't evolving. Checking its wiki information, I wonder why it didn't work. Since I was too blind to see my mistake, I temporarily substituted Gligar for Phanpy, and finally took the time to find all treasure chests around spawn, which took me a while to do so. In the end, I got some extra money as well as a fusion shard. I used the EXP candies I got to evolve my Phanpy into Donphan, as well as my Frogadier into Greninja. I then headed out again to find some more of Ash's Pokemon. I was able to catch a Tailo and even a wild Pidgeotto before warping to the safari. The only Pokemon I found there that Ash owned was a Roggenrola. My efforts got me to 18 of Ash's Pokemon, not far from my goal of 25 now. So to celebrate, I decided to go on a little bit of a hunt for the mythical Pokemon Meltan. So I prepared a diamond pickaxe and enchanted it with efficiency 3. Then I started mining tons of cobblestone and coal so that I could make tons of furnaces. All that was left to do is go into the caves and mine as much ores as I can find. This took me a while to do, but I was able to mine stacks of ores and soon smelted all of them. But I was very disappointed when I collected all the ores and Meltan did not spawn. However, it was kind of expected, as it has a 1 in 3072 chance to spawn, making it a very rare Pokemon. The only thing I could do now is just try again by mining more ores. But I was kind of getting tired, so I slept for the night. I woke up the next day with a rare lucky block in hand thanks to the daily reward bonus. This lucky block will spawn any legendary Pokemon, so I excitedly opened it up only to be met with a Groudon, a very cool legendary that I sadly cannot use in this challenge. Fast forward the next day and I've already smelted more of the ores I've mined. I collected them all in high hopes, but sadly yet again I did not get Meltan. So I went back into the caves, mined even more ores, and went back to smelt them all, only to be met with nothing. I was annoyed, and at this point, most people would give up, but not me. I was determined to get Meltan. I started off by completely remaking my setup, by adding way too many furnaces. I knew I wanted Meltan, and nothing was gonna stop me. I went on a very long mining adventure, getting over 1,000 ores in total, and now it was time to smelt all of it. Once it was done smelting, I quickly collected every single ingot, and just felt defeated once I realized Meltan did not spawn. I didn't want to give up just yet, but I was already feeling super bored from mining a lot, so I flew around with Charizard, and luckily I was able to spot a shiny Galarian Zigzagoon. I was also able to track down Ash's first Pokemon he ever caught, which is Caterpie, before trying to evolve Gligar again and realizing I had accidentally placed the Razor Claw instead of the Razor Fang on Gligar. Finally, I was able to evolve my Gligar into Gliscor. Since my battle with Leon was in a day, I devoted this time to training up my Pokemon until day 50 finally arrived, and I was face to face against Champion Leon. I made sure to adjust the battle AI to the max, so this battle won't be easy. Once the battle started, Leon Dynamaxed his Charizard against my own Charizard. Sadly, it stood no chance and was quickly taken out. Pikachu came in and was barely able to beat his Charizard. His Haxorus proved to be a problem as it defeated my Pikachu, Greninja, and even my Gliscor, until finally Talonflame took it out. Talonflame put in the work and was able to even out the playing field. Once it was taken out though, I only had Sirfetch'd left, and with 26 HP remaining, I was able to take out his Aegislash and win the battle. A super close battle I was happy to win, but don't stop watching now, as on day 100, I will battle against the strongest NPC trainer. Now that we're back on the server, I flew around for a good minute until I found a wild Sewaddle. But instead of continuing my adventure, I wanted to go back and try to catch Meltan again. So off I went on yet another big mining trip, finding a wild Rockruff on the way, which just so happens to be the 20th Pokemon of Ash Ketchum that I caught. Anyways, I ended up smelting all of the ores that I found, and I'm so glad I tried hunting Meltan again, as this time it finally spawned. At this point, I was not gonna let it run away and use my Master Ball on it. I finally had Meltan, but I knew this wasn't enough. I wanted to evolve it into Melmetal, and well, the old method was smelting 400 pieces of ore while it was in your party, which is exactly what I did, and I was surprised to see it not evolving. One Google search later, I found out I was supposed to feed the iron to Meltan, so I made blocks of iron and gave it a good feast until I was able to evolve it into Melmetal. The Meltan quest was finally over, and I just felt overjoyed. So I decided to take it easy and flew around with Charizard for a while. Eventually, I found a desert biome with a Gible, and yes, sadly Ash had a Gible that never evolved, so I guess even though I caught a Gible, I can't evolve it into Garchomp. I was also able to find and catch a Tauros, which means now I only need one more of Ash's Pokemon until all that's left to do is get my team to level 100 and defeat the strongest NPC trainer. I knew if I wanted to have a chance, I need to resort to desperate measures though. I took my super rod and flew around in search of a swamp biome because I wanted to fish for Ash Greninja, the rarest Pokemon you can fish up in all of Pixelmon. And would you look at that, the first Pokemon I fished up was a Greninja. Sadly did not have the ability Battle Bond, but still that was kind of lucky. Anyways, I spent the next 10 days only fishing for an Ash Greninja, occasionally catching Frogadiers in case I get one with the hidden ability Protein. In the process of fishing up lots of Pokemon, I came across a Muck which just so happens to be another one of Ash's Pokemon. Catching this meant we have finally completed a goal and we're one step closer to becoming a Pokemon Master. Anyways, once the 10 days were over, I checked my PC box to see the huge amount of Frogadiers we caught. Sadly, I didn't find the Ash Greninja I was looking for, but luckily one of the Frogadiers I was able to catch had the ability Protein. I swapped it out with the other Greninja I had on my team and got it to evolve into Greninja. Being happy with my team so far, I walked into the training area and just started grinding up levels as much as I could until finally all of my Pokemon were level 100. All that was left now was to fight the Sired NPC on day 100. But when I went back home, I saw a weird wormhole in the sky. Feeling curious, I entered the Ultra Space Dimension. There wasn't much to do here other than run around and explore. I also found a wild shiny Torkoal, which actually happens to be one of Ash's Pokemon too. Once I felt like I did all that I could in the Ultra Space, I decided to just warp back home. I knew that I needed to gain some battle experience if this was going to be my team against the Sired NPC, so I traveled to the battle tower and started fighting against strong trainers. The first battle was pretty scary, having to go against a Celesteela and a Tornadus, but luckily by the skin of my teeth, Pikachu clutched up and took out Celesteela at the end, winning me the battle. The second battle went worse, and I got destroyed by Namungus, which was quite anticlimactic compared to the first battle I had. But now, since I had a lot of time to kill until the final battle, I decided to hunt for some legendaries just for fun. I started off by buying a Pokeball bundle from the Vote shop, which included a GS ball. This allowed me to spawn in and catch the mythical Pokemon Celebi. I also had this Orb of Static Souls, so I spent the next few days defeating countless wild Pokemon until the orb was fully charged. This allowed me to summon Zapdos from the shrine at spawn. I didn't waste any time and ended up using my Master Ball. After catching Zapdos, I checked the GTS and actually saw a Naganadel on sale for $100,000. This is an Ultra Beast that Ash does use in the show, so I decided to grind up money in the boss tower, and then once I had enough money, I bought Naganadel and realized it also had a special texture. I knew this beast of a Pokemon just had to be on my team. Sorry Gliscor, you will be missed. Now in order to make all my Pokemon just a bit more powerful, I went ahead and EV trained them up for a while. And now that I've basically maxed out my team's stats, it was time to have one last adventure before the final battle on day 100. I had this uncommon scroll with a few quests on it and decided to just complete it for fun. However, I forgot to actually record the in-game screen. So I am back with a rare scroll this time. All I had to do was defeat 100 Pokemon, defeat 39 grass types, level up my Pokemon 75 times, and finally catch 40 fairy type Pokemon. This actually took the most time out of the other quests. I'd spend the day mainly catching snubbles, and then around nighttime, I would warp into the end and start catching Clefairies. Eventually, I caught the final fairy type Pokemon and was fully ready to claim my rewards, which turned out to be 3 fusion shards. If I wanted to get a fusion Pokemon, doing these scrolls would definitely help out a lot. Anyways, now that we're only 2 days away from the final battle, I decided to just explore the world a bit. I ended up catching a Hawlucha near my house, as well as a wild Chikorita. In total, on my journey, I was able to catch 30 of Ash's Pokemon. But now, it was time to face off against the strongest NPC on the server. My entire adventure led me here, and hopefully I win and prove myself a true Pokemon master. The battle started with my Greninja against Cinderace. Cinderace used the move U-turn and switched into Landorus that was unfortunately met with a Hydro Pump to the face. Greninja fainted, so I switched into Sirfetch'd, who was able to Meteor Assault the Lucario. Kartana scared me at first, but a flamethrower took it out with ease. With Charizard knocked out, I sent out Melmetal, who was able to damage both Umbreon and Ludicolo before being taken out. I thought Pikachu would outspeed Ludicolo, but I was very wrong. Also, somehow Ludicolo dies too from recoil. I'm not sure how, but anyways, now it was all up to Naganadel. I Toxic Stalled the Umbreon that kept on spamming Wish, and then finally Dragon Pulsed the Cinderace, winning me the battle. I have finally defeated the strongest NPC trainer on the server. I have become the Pokemon Master. And with that, our journey comes to an end. Bye! Dragon types are the strongest Pokemon ever. Okay, well they are one of the strongest Pokemon types. And today I will be spending 100 days on Cobblemon Islands, catching and training these dragon Pokemon so that I can become the ultimate dragon type trainer. And in order to achieve that title, I would need to complete these 3 goals. First, I have to catch 20 unique species of dragon type Pokemon, catch 1 shiny dragon Pokemon, and catch myself a legendary dragon type Pokemon. Can I do all of this in just 100 days? Well, let's find out. Alright, we're in the hub here. I think I'm gonna go into the Moon Realm. Okay, we're now in the wild and I have myself a Frigibax. But this is going to be my starter Pokemon. Oh, it looks so cool. This is that new dragon type that was in Scarlet and Violet. But yeah, we're going to have to look for low-level Pokemon like this Bunnelby over here and really start training it up. What's crazy is that we do have Dragon Tail. And just like that, I beat my 3rd Pokemon yet, and I'm now level 7. Oh, and I also learned Icy Wind. Ooh, okay, those are some really cool items. We might be able to go into the Nether, and there we might find some dragon-type Pokemon. Yo! I just found a Gibble! Ain't no way, bro. It killed me. And... no! I can buy Ultra Balls. Bruh. And it looks like the Gibble despawned. It's just perfect. Okay, so I just found a Dino instead. Yeah! Yes! We finally caught our 2nd dragon type Pokemon. Yo, what the heck? I was just given a lot of crate keys. And all the crates are at spawn. Oh.
330.
Finally, I'm able to open all of these. Do we have here? Okay, my Frigibax is level 9 now. It's level 14. I'm gonna get myself a diamond axe and start chopping down trees so I can make myself a house. I am so bad at building, but I will try and improve myself. This spot looks perfect. And with the power of editing, boom. Okay, it looks all right. Not the greatest house, but it is something. But now that we have a base, it is time we level up my Pokemon. So my recording broke. Essentially, I caught a Goomy and a Tatsugiri. That is basically all I did. Well, I have about 15,000 Pokecoins. And when I open up the GTS, I can see that Master Balls are on sale for about 20,000 coins. So all I need is to defeat a few more Pokemon. Every time I kill a Pokemon, I do get some Pokecoins. So I just got 20,000 Pokecoins. That means I can open up the GTS and buy myself a Master Ball. Hey. Okay, now there's something really cool you can do on and Cobblemon Islands, which is actually just doing /server, and then you can type in nether. Now I am in the nether. I don't need no portal or anything. And if I do /last legend, we can see the last legendary spawn 2 hours and 44 minutes ago. Legendary spawn at least every 3 hours. That means we just have to wait 15 minutes, and there's a chance a legendary would spawn on us. Rolling around at the speed of sound. Phew, did it spawn on me? Okay, let's see what I get for my daily spin. Yo, I just got a Master Ball. Wait, what? All right, I'm back in the overworld right now. My Frigibax is very close to evolving. Okay, and it seems that my Frigibax is able to evolve. This took so long, but finally, it's Arctibax! Yo! And now that he's evolved, we can actually go over here, and I just saw this earlier. It's the Safari Zone, and oh my goodness, bro. We need 60,000 coins just to enter. Wait, how much do I have? I have 9,000. Great. Okay, I'm back, and look at the hub. It completely changed because it is now October. Okay, but I'm gonna try and grind some money up so that I can enter the Safari Zone, as there are strong dragon type Pokemon there. And of course, we'll be grinding up money by defeating wild Pokemon. Oh! Another Master Ball. So I just got done voting for the server, and I got a few crate keys over here now. Hopefully this will give me enough money to actually enter the Safari Zone. Oh my goodness, I'm opening so many crates. 64,000. This is enough to actually go into the Safari Zone. Let's go. For the next 30 minutes, we are here. This is awesome. Okay, I'm gonna try and explore the Safari Zone. Oh my goodness, wait a minute. That is literally just a Garchomp in front of me. Hey, yo, that's a Drudgegon. That's level 62. I have 4 Master Balls. Do I waste it on these guys? I will, however, go for this level 16 Trapinch. Hey, that's another dragon type. Oh, okay. Well, it's not dragon type just yet. Let me throw out Trapinch, give it all the rare candies, and now it can evolve. Oh, wait, no, it can't. I found out Vibrava, but it's the level 4, so I don't want to catch it. It is actually pretty weak. Okay, I think just to make this a bit fair, I'm not going to use Master Balls while I'm here. Otherwise, I'll just catch like super overpowered dragon types. But this is a level 14 Garchomp, guys. There's no way I don't catch this. Oh, I actually killed it because I'm just too strong. Okay, so I just found a level 33 Dragapult. Yes! We got Dragapult. Hey, yo, that's a shiny Pokemon. What? We found a shiny Shroodle. Okay, I just found an Altaria as well. This is a dragon flying type, so it does work. Yes, that's another dragon type Pokemon. Okay, I think you can fly on certain Pokemon. Wait. Oh, let's go. I can use Altaria to fly around. This is amazing. Wait, what the heck? Is that Dracozolt? It is. Yes! Okay, that's another dragon type Pokemon already. Okay, so sadly, I just got kicked out of the Safari Zone, but I did catch a good amount of dragon types. I think I'll take Trapinch with me and try to quickly evolve him so, you know, he's actually a dragon type. Trapinch is now level 35. He's able to evolve into Vibrava. Let's go. Okay, so I found this thing, which turns out to be a Pokéden. So if I right-click it, oh my goodness, I found a Wooloo-den. It's level 100. Wow, it's destroying my entire team. Okay, I definitely need to train up my team to level 100 just so I can take down these Pokédens. So I just claimed this daily reward of 10 XL candies. This is really good. I think I can evolve one of my Pokemon. Maybe Gumi? Okay, let me give him one. He's already level 40. Oh, and he can evolve into Sligoo. I think I'm gonna try and give it to Dino here. Okay, now we can evolve into Tvilos. Let's go. Wait, he can evolve into Flygon. Yo! I feel so much stronger now. Are you kidding me? Another shiny spawned on me. I can't believe it. A shiny Pachirisu actually spawned on me. Okay, so I finally found another Gibble. Yes! Okay, we caught it. That is another dragon type, and it's actually a good one. Wait a minute, it can already evolve. Let's go. Now that I'm back in my base, I kind of want to build like a dragon type gym somewhere. Maybe like right over there. I want to make it super big and have like a dragon type logo on it. I'm not the best at building, I'll be honest, but I still want to try. This is my dragon type gym, okay? I know I'm like the worst builder ever, but I really did try. It took me so long to build everything, and honestly, it looks, But before we face any gym challengers, I first need to train up my Pokemon. And there we go. Let's just train on some wild Pokemon. Ooh, EXP candy. Okay, I might be able to evolve my Sliggoo. Okay, it just needs to level up one more time in the rain, I believe. And then we'll already have a Goodra. I cannot believe another shiny spawned on me. And this time it was a weird deer. Isn't that like 2, 3 shinies so far? All right, there we go. Sliggoo is now able to evolve. Oh, I think he's just able to do it. Oh, all right. I didn't even need rain or anything. I have a Goodra now. All right, so I got myself a fishing rod here. There's a very small chance, maybe like 0.01%, that I am able to fish up Walking Wake, which is a dragon type legendary Pokemon that is based off of Suicune. And of course, I get Magikarp. While I was fishing and beating up Pokemon, it seems that my Arctibax is ready to evolve. So finally, it will evolve into Baxcalibur. Okay, it kind of looks a bit weird, I'll be honest. Like, it looks fine, but a little bit goofy. After all that fishing, I earned almost 100,000 Pokecoins. That means I can go to the Safari Zone again, but more importantly, I can actually open up the shop and buy myself at least one Pokecoin crate key. This has a very small chance of giving me a random legendary Pokemon. Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, dude, I just got another crate key. Okay, what is this? I got Gardevoir hat. I can't believe I spent all my money on this. Anyways, let's go back to the Safari Zone. Okay, I just gotta highlight this. I saw this thinking it's a Beast Ball. It's a Voltorb. Okay, I just found a level 90 Druddigon. This is a dragon type I have not caught yet. It is super high level. I will try and catch it. I will not use any of my Master Balls, okay? I'm gonna try and hit it with the Ultra Ball. Yes! I caught myself a level 90 Druddigon. Let's go. Wait a minute. Gabite can evolve. Oh, and we have another dragon type as well. Garchomp now. Okay, I just found the next dragon type, which is Turtonator. Yes! Okay, that's another dragon type down. Guys, do you see that Pokemon? That's a Dratini right there. That is amazing. That evolves into Dragonite. I definitely need that for my team. It's level... Wait, what? There we go. We just caught a level 92 Dratini. Unfortunately, I could not find any more dragon types in the Safari Zone, but for the dragon types we did catch, they're insanely strong. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to take Dratini out. Oh wait, Dratini can instantly evolve into Dragonair. And when we send out Dragonair here, which, you know, this is what it looks like, we can finally evolve it into Dragonite. Yo! Now that we have a Dragonite that's level 92, I think we can finally take down one of those Pokédens. Okay, so I finally found a raid over here. I mean, let's just see what it is. Oh, it's a Capsicid, okay. Hopefully my Dragonite can take this down. Wait, there we go! We finally beat our first Pokéden. Okay, so it kind of already tells me everything in chat. Okay, I found another Raiden, and this one is a Zubat. And just like that, I beat another Raiden. Oh, and we got a lot more items here. Now that we have Twilos here, I think we can evolve him. Yes! Okay, he can finally evolve into Hydreigon. Yo! That honestly, best Pokemon design here. All right, so I actually have 94,000 Pokecoins. So what I think I'm gonna try and do is buy 3 of these Pokecoin crate keys. This gives me 3 chances in order to open up the crate and hopefully get a legendary Pokemon. Oh, there we go. Unfortunately, we did not get any legendary Pokemon. Okay, so I actually managed to fish up a Dragalge here, which is a poison and dragon type Pokemon. And just like that, we caught another dragon type Pokemon. I'm back from all of that fishing. I have made 230,000 Pokecoins. That's so much money. And I am gonna go straight to the shop and buy a lot of these crate keys. No, no, no. I just got the worst items in the world. Right now, I'm gonna go into this cave here, as there is a small chance that Axew or Bagon can spawn here. I just have to be very careful not to spawn the Warden. I think I spawned the Warden. Oh, dang! I spawned the Warden! No, 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 no. Okay, I'm having no luck in these caves. I'm just gonna randomly teleport and hopefully I find some Dragon-type Pokemon. While I was looking for some Dragon-type Pokemon, I looked in the chat and apparently a raid was starting. Now, for this raid, I can only bring Pokemon that are level 80 or higher. So that means I'm going in with only 3 Pokemon. All right, there we go. This is the raid boss. Wow, it is level 100. Oh, well, it looks like the raid finished. I did like nothing. Oh, I also got a Halloween raid pass. Oh my goodness. Check the chat right now. There's a Regidrago raid about to happen. That's literally a dragon type legendary Pokemon. I need this. So now that we got 4 Pokemon in this raid, hopefully we can win. Okay, there we have Regidrago. Okay, there's hope. I took it out once. Now I just gotta take it out so many more times. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. We got Pokeballs. That means we have a chance at catching Regidrago. We have to catch it. Keep in mind, I can only use these Cherish Balls. I can't use anything else at all. Oh my goodness. No one's looking. I'm gonna try and throw the Master Ball. Okay, it says you can only throw Raid Balls. 1 shake, 2 shake. Bruh. Okay, this is my last Pokeball. I literally can't do anything else. So this is my final Pokeball. 1, 2, 3. No! Okay, I came back to the fishing spot because there is 1 dragon-type Pokemon I believe I missed here. Wow, okay, I found a Horsea. This will evolve into Seadra, which evolves into Kingdra, and that is another dragon-type. Oh, okay, there we go. I caught it. And now that it's level 32, it can evolve into Seadra. Now, in order to evolve Seadra, I need a Dragon Scale. Okay, so I just looked it up, and I can only get Dragon Scales by killing the Seadra family or the Dratini family. Okay, wait, I just fished up a Kingdra itself. I guess this works. Yes! Okay, I finally caught Kingdra. This brings our total species count to 14. Okay, while fishing, it seems that there's gonna be a Salamence raid. This is amazing. We need a Salamence. All right, let's go ahead and fight this Salamence. We were able to get some good Pokeballs for this raid. Hopefully, we can catch this Salamence. All right, there we go. Now we're fighting against a Salamence. It's level 70. Hopefully, we can catch it. Yes! Let's go! Oh, and it looks so cool. Just look at that Salamence. Okay, so there's an event going on right now. So by joining this event, I have a chance at getting a legendary Pokemon if I win. Oh, what is going on? What is this? People are fighting. This is a free-for-all. Oh, I killed someone. What? Is someone calling my name 19? Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! I got launched. No! It was so close. I got 2nd place. I can't believe that. I am back here. There is gonna be a Giratina raid. If I catch this, I will have a Giratina. I do have a lot of EXP candy, which I'll use on my team. And there we go. My starter is now level 100. All right, let's go ahead and fight this Giratina. Okay, we took it down once. All right, we didn't do that bad. Wait, we actually got 8th place on the leaderboard. Look at me. Okay, but how do I catch the Pokemon? Wait, what? I thought I'd be able to catch Giratina. Apparently not. Let's go. I just found a wild Flapple. Okay, let's go ahead and catch this. There we have it. That's another dragon-type Pokemon. And yes, I know I promised myself I would never gamble again, but please, I just have to. I feel it. I feel it. A legendary Pokemon. Come on. Yeah, we got trash again. I was just flying around and found this island in the sky. I did not know this existed in Cobblemon. This is where my base needs to be at. I will come back here later, but for now, let's hunt down some fossils. While I was hunting for fossils, I was actually invited to join someone's town. Hello?
Oh, he has a mic.
I really want to ask this guy though, because he seems pretty nice. If he can give me a dragon type, where are you taking me?
To my fishing hole.
Oh, I'm just going to his fishing hole. Do you have any dragon type Pokemon? Okay, wait, this guy could breed a Ditto and a Tyrant together and give it to me.
He's going to be bigger. It says 29 minutes.
29 minutes! Yes! I finally got the Tyrant! He finally gave it to me after it finished breeding. Let's go. So right now we got Tyrant, who will evolve into Tyrantrum. Oh my goodness. This guy is huge. So I heard the Safari Zone is one of the greatest areas to go find shiny Pokemon. I don't know if this is completely true, seeing how every time I come here, I only find a few extra dragon types. So either I find a shiny Pokemon, or I find a few dragon types. Either or I would like. Okay, I just found a Dracovish. Is it actually a wild one? It is! Oh, I already caught it first try! Let's go! We've come so far, having already 18 unique dragon-type species. Is that what I think it is? Oh my goodness, it's another dragon-type Pokemon. Oh my goodness, no way. Catching this means that we only need one more dragon-type species to complete one of our quests. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave the Safari Zone. I got some dragon-type Pokemon. Shinies weren't spawning on me. I'm good. As you can see, I am back on the Sky Island over here. I really want to build my base here and possibly some other things as well. So let's go ahead and clear the area over here. And now let's expand the land over here. Oh my goodness. I was just claiming my daily spin and I can't believe it. I got a... Oh my goodness, I just saw. So I got a random legendary Pokemon and I just checked that it was Celebi. Wait, let's look at Celebi. Yo! That's so cool, but it's so sad that I cannot use it. Alright, this is a very unique house. I've never built anything like this before. I hope you guys like it. Oh my goodness. Okay, I know it kind of looks a bit goofy, but this is based off of Mega Charizard X, I believe. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yo! Oh my goodness! What? I decided to just redeem the crate and I actually got a random legendary voucher. Okay, I just have to hope this is a dragon type. Alright, let's see what legendary I got. It was Zekrom! Yes, I can actually use Zekrom. No way. Let's send out Zekrom. Yo! Literally, I just bought a crate key here and I got this instead. But now that we got Zekrom, we actually have 20 dragon type species, which means we actually finished 2 goals at once. All that's left is to get a shiny dragon type Pokemon. There's also going to be a Halloween raid. So let's test out the power of Zekrom here. And Zekrom's already dead. Okay, so I'm back here and the Charizard raid is gonna start. There's a small chance to get a random Charizard Megastone. So I think I can get the Charizard X or Y one. Ooh, okay, it's Mega Charizard Y. Okay, looks like the raid ended. Unfortunately, I did not get any Megastone. I know when this video comes out, it's not Halloween anymore, but in the Halloween hub, there are these weekly trainers. And since I started my journey, I feel like my team has grown a lot. So let's try and fight this guy. Eternatus! Oh, and it just one-shot my Zekrom. And he's gone. Dude, this trainer was tough. So there's actually a really cheap way to get a shiny dragon type. Okay, well, not really cheap, but there's a thing called the Poke Builder. I'm able to select a dragon type such as my Dragonite and click the shiny modify button. It only costs 6,000 Poke Builder tokens. You can get these tokens in crates or even raids. And right now I have 5,700. So I return back to the Halloween lobby, and by talking to this NPC over here, I'm able to convert my candy into Poke Builder tokens. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I have a lot of Poke Builder tokens here. So some of the tokens actually glitched. So that just means we'll have to grind some more. And we can do this by defeating wild Pokemon. Okay, so I finally have enough to claim the last few tokens I need. And now I can turn one of my Pokemon into a shiny. I can't do Zekrom, sadly. I have decided that I'll turn Dragonite into a shiny, just because its shiny actually looks like something. So let's send out our shiny Dragonite. Yo, okay, it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty good. But yeah, that sort of means we finished all of our tasks. So all that's left is to build the best Dragon-type team and to hopefully face my gym challenger eventually. So I'm back in my base, and this is a pasture block. I'm able to put my Pokemon here, and it sends them out to roam around. But I kind of want to make this area look much better for my dragon types. Alright, so this is what the ranch looks like now. I know my building is not the greatest again, but I really did try to create like a really cool environment for my dragon types. So let's send them out. Okay, I did not know they could die by the magma block. They all try to die, and what are you guys doing out there? As you can see from my PC box, all of my dragon types are out now. This is awesome. They're all just enjoying their time. Wait, what are you guys doing outside? He's flying out! So warping to the city and going down here, we can find someone called the Battle Bond Expert. This is the strongest trainer on the server, and you can only battle him once every 24 hours. Alright, let's start the battle. But I'm able to take out his first Pokemon. Okay, I killed 2 of his Pokemon. Out comes the Greninja. Oh no. Oh man, it's killing all my Pokemon. No, Zekrom. And there goes my final Pokemon. No wonder people call this the hardest Pokemon trainer. However, I believe as we walk across the server, there are other special trainers such as this Pikachu enthusiast. Not the trainer I'm looking for, but there are special trainers. Just like this trainer over here, which gives you a fire crystal if you beat him. I'm gonna try my luck at fighting the ordinary trainer. So they start off with a level 100 Pokemon. And there goes my Zekrom already? I'm already down to my last Pokemon. Yeah, I'm just done. A lot of Lickitungs just spawned on me, and now there's a shiny one. I think there's like a Lickitung outbreak, but this is another shiny Pokemon I just got. But apparently Diablo Turtle, the server owner, told me that there is something special around here. Hey, yo, what? Okay, hang on. I see a chest up here. So Diablo did say that he hit a chest around here, and I did not think it was on top of my base. All right, let's see. Oh, it's just a book. It's not signed or anything, so I don't know if this is legit, but it does say Mr. Turtle, complete for a reward. Oh, so let's start off with catching 10 random Dragon-type Pokemon. Dragon-type number 1. There we go, caught another one. There we go, that's another one. And this is number 10. So there we go, that's already the first challenge done. So I see a lot of these sea dots, and they're extremely easy to catch because they're so low leveled. So I'm gonna try and shiny hunt this sea dot over here. You do this by just catching a lot of sea dots. So catching this one sea dot makes the shiny odds 1 in 8,000. So I caught 8 sea dots so far, and my shiny odds are now 1 in 6,000. The shiny odds right now are 1 in 512. So all I gotta do now is run around and hope that a shiny Seedot will spawn. Oh my goodness, finally, yes! A shiny Seedot, let's go! I'm just gonna throw my Master Ball. I've been waiting hours, literal hours. Alright, so my last quest is to actually defeat or catch a legendary dragon-type Pokemon. It does not specify that it has to be a wild dragon-type legendary, so I'm gonna look for these NPC trainers that I can fight around spawn, or just anywhere in general, and maybe they'll have dragon-type legendaries I could defeat. Oh my goodness, I finally found a trainer with a legendary dragon-type Pokemon. No! But everything is so weak to it. No, it's all dying. I have to wait over 250,000 seconds to fight it again. Okay, I stumbled into another trainer, and on the top right, they have an origin form Palkia. Wow. Yeah, I just lost again. There's actually no way. There is no way I'm beating a shiny Mega Rayquaza. Yeah, okay, yep. I've been trying to look for NPC trainers and everything, but maybe I have to look for real, actual players. They have Dragon-type legendaries. I just need to fight one and win. Okay, crazy question. Could I kill one of your Dragon-type legendaries?
I mean, you can try.
He's letting me kill it. Yes! There we go. We killed a Dragon-type legendary. I can't wait to see what reward I actually get from this. Okay, I've waited an entire day. I can't wait to see what we got. And ooh, okay, a Salamence. This is such a good Megastone, and I can use it on my Salamence over here. Okay, let's test out the Mega Evolution. So we click this icon and then a Pokemon move. Oh my goodness, there we go. It Mega transformed. Now I heard that someone wants to battle my gym here, so I will wait for my challenger. And this is the team I will be using. And there he is. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to my gym.
I came to challenge you. Was this the dragon type gym or whatever?
It is. Do you like the design of this area?
Yeah, totally. Looks great.
All right. Well, my building might not be good, but my battling and my Pokemon is another thing, okay?
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. If you win, I will give you my prized possession, the Zekrom.
I'm trying to cop that. Yo, let's do this.
All right, let's start the battle. Ooh, oh my goodness. Oh no, I'm about to be cooked already.
Moonblast, right? Yeah.
No. Survive.
That's
Zekrom! Yes! Oh, and it's
Wait, how? What? Yeah, it doesn't matter, because you die right here.
I'm an electric type.
Oh wait, Zekrom's electric?
Well, I feel so confident. I'm gonna switch from Zekrom. No, Jim Bob Jones. Goodbye. I don't think you win here. Okay, well, I could end this with dig. Any final words?
Stop. Leave me alone.
I'm about to click dig.
Let's do slash again.
All right, I'll give you a fighting chance with slash. No.
Like I said,
I'm gonna end it off with my starter Pokemon here. A very odd starter, I'll say.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But for my challenge, it was yes. Oh, and it kills. There you go. And he's got. Is that wait? Wait! Oh, legendary Pokemon spawned on us.
Wait, what? What? Let's kill Baron's mine.
Today, I'm gonna spend 100 days in Pixelmon, but I can only use Paradox Pokemon. I'm also gonna be playing on the Smash MC server, where they have custom Paradox Pokemon. My goals for the next 100 days is to catch at least 15 Paradox Pokemon, to catch a shiny Paradox Pokemon, and at least one legendary Paradox Pokemon. Can I complete all of these goals and become the ultimate Paradox Pokemon trainer? Watch the rest of the video to find out. Also, if we hit 20,000 subscribers, I'll spend 100 days in Pixelmon as Ash Ketchum. Without further ado, let's start our adventure. I decided to choose Oshawott as my starter, but that won't matter as I'm not allowed to use him anyways, since I'm only allowed to use Paradox Pokemon. That means I'd have to find a way to catch one without using Oshawott at all. So I warped into the wild and checked my battle pass and saw that if I reached level 8, I'd be able to get a special item that would allow me to redeem a Paradox Pokemon of my choice. So there was only one thing left to do, and that is grinding up levels by mining lots of stone and dirt. But hey, we just started our adventure. I'd like to do other things than just mining, such as exploring this huge house, where I had a lot of fun riding the bike indoors, and even managed to find lots of items in these barrels. Finally, once I left the house, I ended up cycling by this shiny earthworm, and I was able to catch it with a great ball, which gave me lots of levels. I also explored some desert ruins, and this one in particular merged with a dungeon, so I ended up getting even more loot. Eventually, on the 5th day, after mining and smelting tons of ores off camera, I finally ended up getting level 8 on the battle pass. I was awarded a specific Pokemon paper, which allowed me to claim any non-legendary Pokemon. In this case, I decided to choose Slitherwing. But now my inventory was getting a bit too cramped, so I decided to gather up lots of materials and start building my house. It took a while, but eventually I finished it. Might not be the best house ever, but it's good enough. Since I'm stuck with Slitherwing for now, I used up the rare candies I got from the battle pass till Slitherwing was level 100. With the help of a random player, I was able to teleport into the Ultra Space Dimension, which is where server exclusive Paradox Pokemon have a chance at spawning. So I explored for a while, eventually ending up in the Ultra Deep Sea biome, where I would encounter my first wild Paradox Pokemon, Storm Leviathan. I instantly threw my Ultra Balls at it, and luckily I was able to catch it without any problems. This was one of the most majestic looking Paradox Pokemon I've ever seen. But wait, my luck does not end there, as I find myself face to face with a Death Fear, a Paradox Pokemon based off of Dragapult. I tried my best, throwing as many Ultra Balls as I had in my inventory, but sadly, when it defeated my team, I was sent back to the overworld in what appears to be some random guy's base. I literally have no idea as to why I ended up here, but I again used the help of another player to go back into the Ultra Space Dimension, and this time I explored far and wide, until I found yet another Death Fear. I threw Ultra Balls outside of battle so that it wouldn't be able to kill my team, and eventually I was able to catch it. But yeah, apparently I found another Death Fear a day later, so I just ended up catching that one, and now I just had 2 Death Fears. At least I found another Paradox Pokemon that isn't Death Fear. Now I tried my best catching Slashing Shell, but it took every last Ultra Ball in my inventory until I was just left with nothing. Feeling frustrated, I warped back home. But then I decided to warp to the gym leaders and have a go trying to get the first gym badge. Sadly, I wasn't allowed to bring the custom Paradox Pokemon, so when I sent out Slitherwing all alone, I got destroyed. If I wanted to defeat the gym leaders, I'd need to expand my team, so I warped into the end in order to hunt down some more Paradox Pokemon. It didn't take too long until an Iron Tread spawned. Now I need to be careful when catching it, because if my Pokeball were to fall in the void with Iron Treads in it, it will disappear. So I tried pushing it onto the platform, even expanding it to make sure it doesn't fall. But Iron Treads just had other plans. There was a sad attempt at saving its life, but it was just too late. To prevent this happening again, I continued to expand the platform until I saw that Iron Tread spawned again. I quickly made my way down and caught Iron Treads. As I walked around the End Islands, I came across Iron Hands. I used the rare candies I had to lure it onto a wider platform, and then caught it with the first Ultra Ball I threw. I also spotted an Iron Moth, but before I could react, it just decided to fly away. After walking around a while, I found a wild Sandy Shocks. I tried luring it with rare candies, but it was just not interested. Eventually, it decided not to be a part of this world anymore. Well, that's okay. I flew around with my Storm Leviathan and spotted Iron Thorns on the outer End Islands. Luckily this went well, and I was able to catch another Paradox Pokemon. Now that I've expanded my team a bit, I went ahead and challenged the first gym leader. Sadly, Death Fear and Storm Leviathan had to sit out as they were banned. Anyways, the gym battle wasn't that difficult. Iron Treads was able to defeat all 6 Pokemon by itself, and now I had 1 gym badge. Seeing how easy the first gym was, I challenged the second gym soon after. It actually was a bit more challenging, making me use more than 1 Pokemon, but in the end, I got my second gym badge. I was pretty happy with the team I had, so why not get them all to level 100? I stayed at the level grinder for a while, but really wasn't making any progress. That's when I had the bright idea to buy lots of rare candies from the GTS, speeding up the leveling process. Also, I thought it was cool that the custom Paradox Pokemon learned custom moves once they reached level 100. The moves weren't super powerful, but still made each Pokemon feel more special and unique. I took my new and improved team and started practicing Pokemon battles with them by destroying all the NPC trainers around spawn. And yes, some of them even had legendary Pokemon, yet I still defeated them with relative ease. Feeling very accomplished today, I went to bed the same night, and when I woke up the next day, Pixelmon had updated to version 9.1.6, adding 3D models for Walking Wake and Iron Leaves. I knew I wanted to hunt them down now, so I warped into the End Dimension and started walking around. Sadly coming across an Iron Jugulus that was flying over the void, making it impossible to catch. I waited around a bit, eventually finding a Fluttermane that I was able to catch, and even spotted a Great Tusk which I added to my collection of Paradox Pokemon. So far, I had 8 in total and no signs of stopping. I got myself a diamond pickaxe and enchanted it with efficiency 3 so that I could mine tons of endstone and expand the platform, allowing more Pokemon to spawn on it. That's when I spotted a Screamtail down below. I tried my best throwing Pokeballs at it, but the server was experiencing some bad lag. And also, this guy was trying to mine the blocks under Screamtail so that it would fall into the void. The odds were stacked against me, but I persisted. Eventually, the lag got to the server and it had to restart. And yes, when I joined back, Screamtail was nowhere to be seen. But Lady Luck decided to bless me on this day as I came across the legendary Paradox Pokemon Walking Wake in all its glory. I used my only Park Ball that I got as a reward from having hours of playtime, and now Walking Wake was mine. I had to use all of my leftover rare candies to get it up a few levels before warping to the level grinder and training it up till it reached level 100. Okay, Walking Wake wasn't the only legendary I got. I forgot to press record, and as you can see in chat, I opened an uncommon lucky block which upgraded to a rare lucky block, and yeah, I got a Jirachi now too. I can't use it, but it's still very rare for this to happen in the first place. Anyways, moving on, I warped back to the gym leaders and challenged the third one which specialized in ground types. For some reason, I was allowed to bring along the custom Paradox Pokemon, and needless to say, it only took 1 Death Fear to completely annihilate this gym, awarding myself the 3rd gym badge. Now I tried to challenge the 4th gym leader, but their water type Pokemon were just too strong against my own team, so I ended up losing. I knew if I wanted to have a chance at it again, I'd need to get stronger Paradox Pokemon. So with the help of a kind player, I warped back into the Ultra Space dimension, where I was spotted by another player who dropped me a Master Ball and wished me luck. but also mentioned that there was a Paradox Deoxys known as Cosmic Virus that existed on the server. I was very interested and decided before the 100 days was over, I wanted to catch this special Paradox Pokemon. But of course my luck works in mysterious ways, as I find a Buzzwole instead. I caught it with a level ball, but sadly could not use it as it is an Ultra Beast. I explored far and wide in the Ultra Space Dimension, even beating a raid, until I finally found another custom Paradox Pokemon. This one was called Iron Wings and is a future form of Charizard. It took a lot of level balls since I ran out of Ultra Balls, but I was able to catch it. I thought I'd check up on the end and see if there were any Pokemon here. Well, it didn't take too long, and suddenly there were tons of Paradox Pokemon around me. A Roaring Moon trying to fly away, an Iron Jugulis already in the air, and suddenly a Screamtail isolated on a platform. I chose to go after Roaring Moon since it rarely spawns compared to the other two, and let me just tell you, it did not want to get caught. I literally had to buy a stack of Ultra Balls just because I used the rest on it already, and not to mention that it also wiped out my entire team so I could only throw Pokeballs at it. Try not to let it fly away too far. At long last, I was able to catch Roaring Moon, and when I checked back at the platform, the other two Paradox Pokemon weren't here anymore. Or so I thought, until I saw an Iron Jugulis spawn soon after, and started chasing it down with my Storm Leviathan. One thing led to another, and I soon fell to my death. I was able to warp back and saw Sandy Shocks on the platform alongside another Slitherwing. Thankfully this one wasn't too much of a hassle, and now I finally had 12 Paradox Pokemon in total. I spotted a specific shiny paper on GTS, a special item that allows you to redeem any Pokemon and it will be a shiny. I knew this is what I needed to get a shiny Paradox Pokemon, so I warped into the boss tower, beating up lots of boss Pokemon and taking their drops to sell them to the Pokemart for money, until I was able to buy the specific shiny paper. I tried to redeem Iron Leaves, but sadly it counted as a legendary Pokemon, so instead I chose to redeem a shiny Iron Moth since the last one I saw flew away from me. When I was back home, I saw a wormhole appear right on top of my house. So when I go back into the Ultra Space Dimension, here I found these huge pipe structures that had beast ball loot and even chests with rare items. So I explored the sewers finding more rare items, to the point where I was selling most of it and got lots of money in return, of course keeping the plates in case of Arceus. I happened to stumble upon yet another Storm Leviathan in the Ultra Space, which I easily caught with an Ultra Ball. Now I was running around in hopes of finding more Paradox Pokemon, but instead I found a shiny Trapinch which looked really cool. But as I was exploring, I would collect these beast ball loots every now and then, and occasionally I'd have a full inventory and sell the loot back at the Pokemart for more money. I realized I earned enough to buy a specific Pokemon paper off the GTS once again, and I used it to claim a custom Paradox Pokemon, but sadly it did not work. Eventually I decided to redeem Iron Jugulis because it just kept on flying away from me whenever I tried to catch it. Now I only needed to catch one more Paradox Pokemon to finish all of my goals. So I knew I had a lot of time to kill, and tried to re-challenge the 4th gym leader, but apparently he wasn't here. Actually, all the gym leaders disappeared. I wasn't sure on what to do instead, so I warped to the battle tower and decided to challenge the trainers there. Surprisingly, I managed to scrape by the first battle on half health on my last Pokemon, even took down a Kyurem and won my second battle, until I was defeated by the 3rd trainer who had both a Xurkitree and a Tornadus on his team. I knew I wanted to hunt down Cosmic Virus as my last Paradox Pokemon, but before I did that, I wanted to explore the overworld a bit and even discovered a Team Galactic base. Here I found the leader of Team Galactic, Cyrus, who was guarding the Arc Chalice. I decided to battle him and realized his Pokemon were all level 120. Even so, I was still able to defeat half of his team until he sent out Dialga, which destroyed my entire team. I finally thought it was time to go back into the Ultra Space Dimension and was warped here by some nice people. Although I walked around for a while, this crazy guy somehow found me and wanted to take a screenie. Once I took one with him, I whipped out my bike and cycled as fast as I could, trying to get away from the stalker. Thankfully, I lost him, but now it was time to find Cosmic Virus. I flew around with Storm Leviathan and explored on foot, but yet still did not find anything. I knew Cosmic Virus would take a while to find, so just to make sure I don't truly fail this challenge, I set out to catch yet another unique Paradox Pokemon, just in case Cosmic Virus doesn't spawn in time. Most of the Pokemon I saw, however, were all Paradox Pokemon I've already caught before, until I found this iron bundle. I bought a super rod and thought it would be a great idea to rod it onto the main island so that it wouldn't walk off. But I may or may not have overestimated how strong the rod was and accidentally dropped iron bundle into the void. Feeling defeated, I went back into Ultra Space and just started running around aimlessly, making sure to pick up Beast Ball loot on the way until yet another Death Fear spawned. Catching this meant I had 3 Death Fears already. Finally, I found a Slashing Shell, a custom past Paradox form of Blastoise. While I was trying to catch it, another one spawned right next to me, so I kind of just kept on throwing Ultra Balls at both of them, hoping one of them would be caught. Somehow the other disappeared, so I focused and caught the other Slashing Shell, meaning I had caught 15 Paradox Pokemon in total now. But wait, the adventure was not over yet. I still wanted to find Cosmic Virus, and when I went home to store my rare items, I realized I had 11 type plates already. So I went back into the Ultra Space, collecting loot within the sewers, making sure I collect all there is to find, and selling spare items at the Pokemart. Doing this earned me enough money to buy 2 Park Balls from the GTS. For the next few days, I got really unlucky. I did not find Cosmic Virus anywhere, but that didn't stop me from collecting loot on my travels. In the end, I managed to score all the type plates needed to summon Arceus. Now it was time to place all the plates into the Arc Chalice and receive the Azure Flute. I took the flute and played it by the time-space altar at spawn, but sadly it did not react. There must have been some kind of glitch with this altar, so I knew I needed to find one elsewhere. So I kid you not, I was flying to the Galactic base because they had an Arc Chalice, so I just assumed they might have one nearby, until I flew over a time-space altar in the middle of the desert. The fact that I would even find this randomly in just a couple of minutes was incredible, but now it was time to finally summon Arceus. I right-clicked the shrine a lot until it finally took my Azure Flute, and out came the god of all Pokemon, Arceus. I caught it with the Park Ball I bought earlier, and now I just had Arceus in my PC box that I can't really use. As soon as it became day 91, I knew I had to be serious and track down Cosmic Virus. But I also ended up buying Iron Blaster, a future form of Blastoise, just because it looked super cool. Anyways, there was no time to waste. I went back to the Ultra Space and flew around for a while, until I flew past this weird structure on the ground. I took a closer look and saw the very obvious misplaced block in the middle. So I broke it, and that ended up revealing a chest which contained a set of coordinates, surrounded by blocks of obsidian. I wasn't sure what this was telling me, but after I found a flint and steel hidden behind the middle pillar, I knew that I needed to travel to these coordinates in the nether. So I used the obsidian in the chest to make myself a nether portal. And now that I was in the nether, I just took out the coordinates and followed them. These coordinates eventually led me to a bastion. I was kind of confused, so I read the coordinates again and realized I was following the map on the top right, which was in XZY, when coordinates in Minecraft usually are in XYZ. However, on the off chance that these coordinates were written in the top right map in mind, I decided to just go up and check to see in case there was really something here. This involved me using a glitch to get on top of the nether roof and building up on these exact coordinates. As I was building up, I saw a shadow in the sky. That's when I realized I'm in the right place and eventually found a chest up here. Opening up the chest revealed a new set of coordinates and an Ultra Ruin key. I knew I had to travel into the Ultra Space dimension to find whatever this key led to. So I flew over 10,000 blocks with Storm Leviathan until I finally found some sort of shrine on these exact coordinates. Once I right-clicked the shrine, a Cosmic Virus appeared in front of me and started flying away in hopes to escape. Luckily, I backed it into a corner and was able to catch it with a Park Ball. And now, I finally had Cosmic Virus. I took all the rare candies I had and leveled it up to level 100, unlocking the move Venomous Guillotine. I quickly took it out for a test battle until it was immediately defeated by a level 80 Dragonite. As cool as it looks, it really wasn't as strong as I'd imagined. But hey, at the very least, I could fly on its back, and that was pretty awesome. Just before we finished things off, I bought both a Brute Bonnet and a shiny Iron Valiant. Well, that's everything I did in 100 days of using nothing but Paradox Pokemon. If you want to watch more of these videos, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you later. In this video, I will be spending the next 100 days in Cobblemon. This will be my first time playing Cobblemon in over 5 months, and a lot has changed since then. For example, there's the Mega Pokémon now. Okay, well, not really. They're only available on Cobblemon Islands, the sponsors of today's video. They have tons of cool features and lots of models of Pokemon that aren't even officially out yet from the actual Cobblemon mod itself. But more on that later. My goals for the next 100 days will be fairly simple. I need to get a strong team of Pokemon, catch at least 3 legendary Pokemon, and have my final battle against the server owner on day 100. Will I be able to complete all of my goals and become a true Cobblemon champion? Watch till the end to find out. And without further ado, let's start my adventure. When I first loaded into the server, I was given the choice of choosing my starter Pokemon. I, of course, went ahead and picked my favorite starter Pokemon, which was Trico. I spent the first day just wandering around the hub, seeing what the server had to offer before randomly teleporting into the wild, which in this case means dropping down somewhere randomly with a parachute. Once I landed safely, I ran around exploring the wonderful world of Cobblemon, coming across various different blocky Pokemon on the way, and even had my first Cobblemon battle against an Azurill, which I ended up winning with ease. I continued training up around this river against the water-type Pokemon until my Trico evolved into Grovyle. As it was nighttime, many mobs started spawning around me. I didn't think much of it at first, but it soon became a bit hectic. I even witnessed a creeper blow up an innocent Bidoof. I realized how unforgiving the night can be, and my next plan of action was to find a nice place for me to build my base at. So I started walking around the world and came across a wild Ludicolo that just started attacking me for no reason, and then continued to chase me. I was running as fast as I could, but it was no use. I decided to just turn around and start swinging my sword at it until I finally killed Ludicolo. What I just did might not be morally right, but to be fair, it was self-defense. Anyways, moving on, I found a wild Roggenrola that I ended up catching for my team, and finally found a nice plot of land to start building my house at. It took me a while to gather all the materials, but in the end I was able to finish building my house. And now I wanted to go out and catch more Pokemon. It only took me a couple of minutes, and I already found this wild Gimmighoul, which I happily caught for my team. But as I was hanging around my house, a strange individual approached me. They brought me back to spawn and guided me around for a while, eventually gifting me both a level 20 Charcadet as well as a level 1 Aerodactyl, which at the time I thought would be very useless. But literally after one Pokemon battle against a wild Gigalith, Aerodactyl grew to level 19, which was just crazy. To make my team even stronger, I wanted to evolve Gimmighoul, and apparently all it needed was a single gold block. So I went down into the mines to search for some gold ore, and was surprised to see a fully enchanted iron pickaxe inside of a barrel. This made mining for gold super easy, and I was able to return back home and feed Gimmighoul a gold block, causing it to evolve into Goldengo. For the next few days, I set off on a journey to explore and see what Cobblemon had to offer. The first thing I came across on my adventure was this huge village, where I found a couple of extra Pokeballs as well as a crate key. Thinking it was abandoned, I was surprised to see that someone had an entire base in this village. Of course, I made myself at home by crafting myself a diamond pickaxe, which I later enchanted. When I went back home to store my items, I saw a chest outside of my house which was actually left by Banana. You know, the guy who gave me the 2 Pokemon earlier. Inside of the chest, I found a bit of money alongside a PC as well as a stack of Quick Balls. Anyways, back to the adventure. I wandered around for a while before arriving in the land of Wano. I saw this huge castle on top of the mountains and just knew I had to climb up to see what was inside. However, once I made my way up there, I looked inside of the castle and was left to be disappointed as it was completely empty. So I again randomly teleported into the wild and luckily landed close to a wild dino, which I ended up catching. I also spotted a couple of abandoned Poké Centers that actually had chests filled with tons of loot inside of them. I spent about an entire day ransacking every Poke Center I saw and was left with lots of EXP candies which I gave to Roggenrola that ended up evolving into Boldore, as well as having just enough left over to evolve my Grovyle into Sceptile. Now that I had some strong Pokemon, I wanted to travel to the End Dimension, and in order to do that, I'd need to gather up 12 Eyes of Ender. But first, let me go down into the caves and mine some obsidian to build myself a nether portal. I also spent some time mining for diamonds so that I could craft myself some strong armor, and all that was left to do now was to light up the portal and enter the nether dimension. Once I was in the nether, I started looking for a fortress, but this wouldn't be easy as I'd almost be killed by a Centiskorch just a few seconds after I entered the nether. Luckily, I was able to escape and found a nether fortress just a couple minutes later. Unfortunately, there were no blaze spawners left in this fortress, so I'd have to run around waiting for blazes to just spawn naturally, which took a long time. So I ended up just leaving the fortress and started to farm some ender pearls from endermen, but I may or may not have jumped straight into lava. So I guess we're just back at the house with only one Eye of Ender, which just so happened to break the moment I threw it. Now, I would be kind of upset. However, I found out I could have just bought ender pearls and blaze rods the entire time. Anyways, moving on, I used the Eyes of Ender to finally locate the stronghold, where I would find the end portal. And for some reason, I wasn't allowed to place the Eye of Ender into the portal frame. At this point, I thought the end was disabled. However, I soon realized I could have warped into the end dimension the entire time. But hey, I was finally in the end and even got to the Outer End Islands, but I decided to put off exploring the end for later as I really wanted to train up my Pokemon and get better gear. I started by completing this quest of defeating 15 wild Pokemon. It didn't take too long, and my reward ended up being 10 diamonds, which I used to make myself full diamond armor. Now I did some exploring yet again, but I didn't really find anything interesting. So let's skip over to the next day where I'm back at spawn. I claimed my playtime rewards, which gave me a decent bit of money and Pokeballs. But also the server reached a community goal, and everyone received tons of crate keys. Unfortunately, the crates were extremely busy at the moment, so I decided to open them up later. For now, I trained up against strong wild Pokemon, and even accepted an easy Poke Hunt, where I had to find and catch a wild Zubat in a Premier Ball. This Poke Hunt wasn't too hard as Zubats were pretty common, and I got about $1,000 as my reward. Now I did go back to spawn in an attempt to open up the crates. However, most of them were still crowded. I ended up only being able to open the plushie crate, which did give me some nice Pokemon plushies, before falling asleep and waking up the next day and seeing no one had spawned. This allowed me to open up the main Poke crates pretty easily and getting lots of very valuable items, such as a Master Ball. I was extremely happy with the items I got and stored them in my chests back home. And now it was time for adventure! I wanted to search far and wide for better Pokemon, and to help me on my quest is this horse that I just tamed. I decided to name it Brick, and together we ran thousands of blocks, until finally I found what I believe to be a shiny Gyarados. I did end up catching it feeling very happy, however I'll tell you right now this wasn't a shiny Gyarados. As I was fighting some mobs at night, my game suddenly sent me back to the title screen. I logged on very confused only to find out that I had somehow died? I didn't know what else to do and named the death coordinates after Brick as I wanted to reunite with him later on. But for now, I warped back to spawn as the spooky season had started, and the server spawn had changed to fit the occasion. I had also claimed the Wilson kit, and it was just funny to see my friend turned into a plushie. Now I was about to wander around the world again, until someone on the server had found an ancient city and allowed me to teleport to them. I had to be very careful when walking around as I did not want to spawn in the Warden. It also didn't help that I wasn't alone here, but regardless I found so many rare items in so many chests, most of them being EXP candy which would help level up my Pokemon. Eventually I came across the Warden, but luckily it was chasing someone else and it didn't really care about me, so I kinda just walked away from it, looted a few more chests until finally warping back home. I used the EXP candies I found to evolve Dino all the way to Hydreigon, and then gave the rest to Sceptile and Goldango as I wanted to keep them for my battle against the server owner. I knew that I wanted to replace a couple of my Pokemon, so I began searching for better Pokemon that I can use for my team. My search led me to weird places, but eventually I found a Mismagius that I caught to replace my Aerodactyl. I also realized that I had a Link Cable Stone which I used on my Boldor so that it could evolve into Gigalith. When I went back to spawn, I talked to this NPC and claimed my Captain Kit, which gave me way too many items, and used up all 20 crate keys that the kit gave me. This gave me so much money, and I immediately opened up the GTS to see if I could buy any legendary Pokemon. But sadly the only legendary Pokemon I could buy was Moltres, which is just not worth it. Returning back to spawn, there was a parkour event, and I was determined to win. I kept on falling over and over again, but in the end I was able to make it and get second place in the parkour event. But then I found out this wasn't an official event, so sadly there was no prize. Back to hunting for better Pokemon, I came across a wild Gibble, which is something I really wanted for my team, as having a Garchomp would be awesome. Unfortunately, I only had a few rare candies left, but at least I got it to evolve into Gabite. After evolving Gibble, I went back into the Nether to see what Pokemon I could find, but what I would come across would be no Nether structure I've ever seen before. It looked as if it were a mix between a bastion and a castle, so just in case, I held on to my enchanting golden apples and slowly made my way through the castle, where I found ancient debris. This made me lower my guard, and the moment I mined the block, TNT fell directly onto my head, giving me the heart attack of a lifetime. The room was later swarmed by a couple of piglins, which proved to be no challenge, and once I looted every other chest I could find, I made my way back to the overworld. I started to look through the GTS and see what kind of legendary Pokemon I can buy. However, I was too broke to afford anything, so I started selling my items on the GTS. While I was waiting for my items to be bought, I discovered an end portal just under spawn and decided I was geared enough to head straight in and look for an end city. Navigating through the end wasn't too difficult. You just had to carefully bridge from one island to another, and after some time I did spot an end city. Going through the end city wasn't too difficult. The only enemy I encountered were a couple of shulkers that didn't do much other than annoy me by giving me levitation effects. I was able to score some good loot from the chest, but sadly the Elytra was already taken from the end ship. I decided to leave that end city and look for another, but surprisingly my screen was filled with text saying that a legendary Pokemon was nearby. I frantically ran around to see where this legendary Pokemon was, and finally I found it. That legendary Pokemon was Palkia, and I wasn't gonna risk my life, so I threw a Master Ball at it and finally had my first legendary Pokemon. And to finish this day off, I also got my own Nintendo plushie. I just thought I'd mention this as it looked really cute. For the next few days, I didn't really do much. I only explored a little bit and mainly focused on training up my Gabite until it gained enough levels to evolve into Garchomp. But now that I had two Pokemon that could Mega Evolve, I thought it would be perfect to go ahead and craft myself a Mega Band. The materials were definitely not cheap, having to sacrifice 2 netherite ingots as well as a Master Ball. Anyways, I spent this day netherite mining as I already had a Master Ball, and once I gathered all the materials needed, I was able to craft myself the Mega Band. For day 51, I took it easy and just gave all my Pokemon EXP candies. This gave my team a huge buff, and I was able to get Sceptile to level 100. Realizing how close my entire team was to level 100, I spent my time training up against wild Pokemon, but even after hours, it barely gave me any levels. So I kid you not, I just resorted to buying more rare candies, and now technically I had my entire team to level 100. On this day when I checked the GTS, I saw a couple of affordable legendary Pokemon for sale. Eventually, I settled for this Heatran, which I thought would be a perfect fit for my team as I lacked any fire types. I also really wanted to get myself a Mega Stone, but sadly the Mega Quests were still unavailable. But then I received a message from the server admins. If I'm able to complete their own set of challenges, they promised to give me a Sceptolite. I looked at the things they wanted me to do and it seemed fairly simple. The first of my challenges was to catch 10 unique grass-type Pokemon. I guess this fit with the theme of getting a Megastone for my Sceptile. But this was too easy. I was already able to finish this task after a single day. However, my next task wouldn't be so easy, as I need to slay the Wither. Now, slaying the Wither was one thing, but getting the Wither skulls to summon the Wither was another. This ended up taking so many hours, trying to get just one Wither skull, but I continued to persevere, getting another Wither skull in the process. Until finally, after hours of grinding, I had all 3 in my hand. Now, before summoning the Wither, I made sure to prepare by buying netherite ingots for my armor, as well as stocking up on some arrows. Once I found the perfect place, it was time to fight the Wither. I might have slightly underestimated its strength, as it was quick to drain me of my health. However, I was prepared with enchanted golden apples that I had to eat, otherwise I would be dead. I kept on trying to run away and shoot my arrows at it to deal damage, but then it sort of just flew down to my level, so I swung like a madman trying to kill it before it killed me. And I guess that worked out, as I was able to defeat the Wither. Thankfully, the only other task I had left after that was to catch every single unique unknown. This was not hard at all, as they were a fairly common spawn in the end. It did take a bit of time though, but in the end I had every single unknown. And when I returned back home, as promised, I found a chest with a Septolite. I immediately Mega Evolved my Sceptile and started to wipe out the wild Pokemon with relative ease. This made me extremely happy. Now all that was left to do is to catch one more legendary Pokemon, so I started my legendary Pokemon hunt by fishing, because apparently you can fish up for legendary Pokemon such as Walking Wake. I tried to fish for hours, but as exciting as fishing for Pokemon was, I just wasn't able to fish up a legendary Pokemon. And at this point, I decided to scrap the entire fishing thing and went straight into the Nether because, I don't know, I was desperate. And last time I had a Palkia spawn on me in the end, so I was curious to see what could spawn on me in the Nether. As I was exploring, I stumbled upon a new custom nether biome that was completely covered in quartz. Of course, it wasn't just all quartz, as I ended up finding this huge castle that, well, was made out of a lot of quartz. I didn't find anything really interesting in here, but there was a basement underneath the castle, and as I started walking through the tunnels, it sort of reminded me of the back rooms. Unlike the back rooms, I'm able to easily mine my way out. Back to mindlessly running around the Nether, until finally a legendary Pokemon was nearby. I wasn't prepared and had to frantically open up OBS to record what ended up being a Chi-Yu. My idiot stupid brain forgot to bring a Master Ball with me, so I tried my best to throw quick balls at it, while also trying not to get killed by the blazes that were constantly shooting fireballs at me. Luckily, I was able to easily catch Chi-Yu after a few Pokeballs, and then immediately turned towards the blazes to unleash my wrath. Finally, I had caught all 3 legendary Pokemon, and now all that is left to do is to make my team as strong as possible for my battle against the server owner. First things first, I used some of my spare rare candies to get Heatran to level 100. Unfortunately, Chi-Yu was still missing about 46 levels, so I guess it's back to grinding against wild Pokemon. After a very long time, Chi-Yu was able to reach level 100, which meant that I had a full team of level 100 Pokemon. Now, with only a few days left, I wanted to make sure I would spend this time bringing Brick back to my base. You know, the horse that I had a couple days back. Well, it was time for the reunion and to see if he was still alive. Luckily, I randomly teleported close by and walked the rest of the distance till I reached this village. I looked around for a while, slowly losing hope as I couldn't find Brick anywhere. That was until I saw a horse in the distance. Thankfully, it was Brick, surprisingly still alive. Now, I wanted to bring Brick back home, but I would have to travel over 15,000 blocks. It also didn't help that Brick was a slow horse. Now, one of the biggest obstacles I encountered while transporting Brick back home was the ocean. Sadly, you can't put horses onto boats, so I had to resort to other less ethical ways. PETA, don't sue me. Anyways, I finally brought Brick back to my house, ending this adventure on a good note. And I mean, I didn't really do much afterwards other than building a small battle arena in front of my house where the final battle would take place, and then did some last minute exploring around the world, not really finding anything though. But hey, would you look at that, it is day 100 now. The time for the final battle is here, and all I had to do is contact the server owner now. And there he was, just flying around. Okay, he's stepping into my very small arena. Okay, it looks like we're not gonna use this arena here. Whoa! Okay, I've just been teleported. This looks 10 times better than what I had in my base. Okay, day 100, we're finally here. Can we win? I don't know, but we've been preparing for the last 100 days, and it's time to do our final battle. Hopefully, we win. Okay, it looks like the Pokemon battle started. Oh, my Mega Sceptile against his Garchomp. Okay. Gonna go with Leaf Storm. Hopefully that does a lot of damage. Oh, that almost one-shot. Okay, there we go. I defeated his Garchomp. Okay, he sent out his Charizard. I might switch into Heatran. I don't know if this is a good switch. I'll Ancient Power, 4 times effective. Oh, it did not work. I'll switch out to Palkia then. I'm gonna go with Spatial Rend. Wait, he switched to Tinkaton. Okay, that's a Steel type. So I'm gonna switch out to Goldango. Okay, he's switching. Okay, I substituted. Let's go. It worked. So I'm substituted right now, and I'm gonna go for Confuse Ray. Okay, it worked. Charizard is now confused. Go Shadow Ball. Yes, I killed his Charizard. He sent out Swampert again. I'm gonna Shadow Ball the Swampert. Kill that. Oh my goodness, Goldango is sweeping. He sent out Buzzwole. No, Goldango. Okay, I think it's time we send out Chi-Yu here. I believe Chi-Yu is faster. I'm gonna go for the Overheat. No, he sent out Iron Bundle. Oh, Iron Bundle got one shot. I'm gonna go for Ruination to half his HP down. Okay, I'll just Overheat and win, right? He dabbed? No, Chi-Yu died. Okay, let's send out Heatran. Heatran will use Earth Power. Please die. Oh, yes! We defeated Tinkaton. Oh, we won the battle! I have defeated the server owner. Yay! Yay! He's dropping fireworks. Hit that subscribe button if you want to watch more 100-day videos, and I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye! I'm gonna spend 100 days in Pixelmon, where my goal is to become the Pokemon Master. But in order to achieve my goal, I would first need to complete these 5 challenges. First, I'd need to gather up an elite team of Pokemon, get them all to level 100, catch at least 3 legendary Pokemon, and 1 shiny Pokemon, and finally, I need to beat my rival on day 100. Will I be able to complete all of my goals and become a true Pokemon Master? Well, let's find out. I started my Pixelmon journey by joining the Pika City server, where I was given the choice of choosing regular or custom starter Pokemon. I was very tempted to choose a custom starter, but I ended up choosing Chimchar as my starter Pokemon. I had to spend some time exploring the spawn to see what this server would offer. They had this huge marketplace, this crate area, and these hunts which I doubt I'll get too involved in. But after a while, I decided to download the dedicated mod pack, because it gives you a free Master Ball and access to a daily spin where I already got a shiny key. Out of everything, I did end up getting a shiny Silcoon, which was really disappointing, but I guess I'll take it. It was time to set out into the wilds, and it only took me a minute to discover that I could teleport into the Ultra Space dimension. All I really did here was jump around and explore the Ultra Space until I finally warped back to the overworld. I decided to dedicate my time beating up wild Pokemon to level up my Chimchar, and in the process I got these random crate keys, and other than some random rewards, I did end up getting another Master Ball. 3 days in with 2 Master Balls. I was clearly meant to be the Pokemon Master. And it was today that my rival Traceful finally joined the server. We had a Pokemon battle where I won to no one's surprise. And then we kinda just traveled together, exploring the world of Pixelmon. There was also this really cool feature where you could morph into Pokemon, and I tried to use this to prank Traceful. You should catch this Pokemon.
I watched you transform.
Hey, yo, bro, I'm just a wild legendary. Hey, I'm Guzzin over here. Anyways, after some training, I was able to evolve my Chimchar into Monferno, as well as my shiny Silcoon into a shiny Beautifly. I then set out to find a nice spot of land, which is where I would claim and start building my base. I was pretty happy with the house I built, definitely an upgrade from my past bases. Moving on, I did some exploring in the wilds and found a Team Galactic hideout where I would find an Arc Chalice, which would help me in summoning Arceus. But I moved on from that and found a ship in the sky. I was pretty curious to see what was on it and found a couple of Team Plasma Grunts, a few chests, and N himself. When I become much stronger, I definitely want to come back here and fight him. I concluded my exploration by scavenging this desert temple, where I would find myself a GS ball. This would allow me to summon Celebi from an Ilex shrine. All I had to do now was find it, so I went on a scavenger hunt, trying to find an Ilex shrine, which usually spawns around in the plains biome. To help me on my hunt, I caught myself a wild Murkrow, and with the help of a kind stranger, I got myself a dust stone to evolve it into Haunchcrow, and used it to fly around helping my search, but I'll be honest, I couldn't find it at all. And instead got completely sidetracked by this world boss that spawned. It was a Mega Sableye, and I thought I had the right team to take it down, but I did end up losing. This made me reflect on my team's strength, and thought that I would instead use this time to hunt down different Pokemon I was sure would make my team strong. I then also focused on training my whole squad up, and was super happy to see my Monferno evolving into Infernape, and my new addition Gible evolving into Gabite. But going back to another world boss, this time a Mega Latias. I was very confident, but still no match against such a strong Pokemon. So I knew I needed some very strong Pokemon of my own, and when I checked the Pokemon marketplace, I saw legendaries for sale. But the cheapest one on there was a Zapdos. I was pretty broke and needed at least $60,000. At first I was lost and had no idea how to get money. I mean, I literally entered a bastion to try and find chests with items to sell, but most surprisingly, I came across a shiny Sableye, marking off one of my challenges I had to complete. With the struggle of money at an all-time high, I at least got myself a Park Ball from the daily spin, fueling me with enough positive energy to try my hand at this Pokemon event. Apparently it was called the Fish Bug Competition. Not knowing this was a typo of some sorts, I tried fishing, but that wasn't getting any points. I then caught bug-type Pokemon like Surskit and Dewpider, which actually worked and gave me points for the event. I continued this until I ended the event with 2nd place and got myself an Ultra Key as my prize. Of course, I only got a couple of tokens. I started this day off by looking through the gym leaders on the server and realized they were meant for more endgame players. But still, I decided to challenge at least the bug-type gym leader, only to get completely wiped out. I moved on by participating in another Pokemon event again, when I randomly got a shiny key in the middle of it. Oh yeah, I also got 2nd place, earning me tokens again. I also opened up the shiny crate and got a shiny Reller, which was literally the poop bug Pokemon. I was so annoyed that I just ended up wonder trading it away, and continued looking for ways to earn money, such as these Pokédex milestones. So I went on a bit of a catching spree, got first in another Pokemon event that happened, getting myself a Master Key, which actually just got me $100,000. This was enough to buy myself the Zapdos, and now my team grew even stronger with this legendary Pokemon. But since I got pretty close to 10% of the Pokédex, I resumed my catching spree, even finding this special textured Azumarill that I thought looked pretty cool. But finally, I caught 10% of the Pokédex and claimed my rewards. And from the crate, I was able to get myself a random shiny Pokemon that ended up being a shiny Kirlia. It was also at this point that I was able to take down a level 100 boss Pokemon. My team was definitely getting stronger. So to test my strength, I wanted to challenge the Battle Tower, but I encountered a problem. It seemed that Gabite was banned, so I had to make a last-minute substitute with this Dolliv and actually got through the first trainer, but sadly lost right at the second one. I didn't let this loss dwell on me, and instead wanted to go into the Ultra Space Dimension to hunt for some type plates so that I could hopefully summon Arceus. To wrap up my expedition, I found a lot of loot, but none of it were type plates, so I guess that's off the table. Going back to spawn, I found this shop that actually sold an Ilex shrine. It was right there and I could have my own Celebi. I wasn't too far off, only needing around $80,000. So to earn money, I started some of these quests, and especially focused on the mining quest, as it was pretty easy to complete. I still needed more money, so I continued through the different tiers of the mining quest, and the further I went, the more time it took to complete. So I moved on to the pixel mining quest, which was a lot easier to do, as it was just about mining the special Pixelmon ores like Ruby and Sapphire. It took a long time, but I was finally able to buy the Elix Shrine, and was massively disappointed when I needed even more money. I was kind of lost for a moment, but thought that I would just continue the pixel mining quest line as it proved to be easy to complete and rewarded me with lots of money. But eventually I had to take a break from all that mining, so I wanted to try out this Pichu hunt that I kept seeing at spawn. Apparently these Pichus were hidden all over the server, and I had to try and find them. After getting all 25 of the Pichus, I got myself a shiny key, and I was not expecting this at all, but I actually got myself a shiny Suicune. This was incredibly lucky, really boosting my emotions, and thought that I'd give the Pikachu hunt a try. This was a harder scavenger hunt than Pichu, and rightfully so. I was completely stuck on the third Pikachu for hours. I genuinely felt insane not finding this Pikachu anywhere, and this would prove to haunt me for the future. But for now, I took a break on what was meant to be my break, and continued my pixel mining quest line again, completing yet another tier, but still not having enough money to summon Celebi. I really had to grind for this mythical Pokemon. And before I do that, I was put into this random sumo event that I thought I could win. However, my internet did not agree with me, and I lagged my way out of the competition. Back near my base, I found this Mega Pidgeot boss. This was perfect for me to fight with my Zapdos, and I was actually able to beat it, earning me a Mega Stone and a Mega Ring. This would allow me to Mega Evolve and finally use Z moves on my Pokemon. After destroying 2 more Mega Bosses back to back, I started the Planter quest line, which was all about growing certain trees. This was by far the easiest quest to do out of all the others, and I was able to earn enough money to summon and catch Celebi. I dedicated this next day to training up my Pokemon, getting Gabite to evolve into Garchomp in the process. However, I saw stacks of rare candies for sale, and I was kinda broke from the Celebi hunt earlier, so I grew a couple of trees real quick, finished another tier of the Planter quest, and was able to get myself an orb as well as the rare candies, which I used to easily level up my entire team. And that's when I came face to face with my rival again, Traceful. Together, we joined forces to take on the Pichu hunt for him first, where he got his own shiny rolls too. But now it was time to work together to finish the Pikachu hunt. It took us hours, but we were able to finish the hunt with our sanity still intact. I got myself a shiny Cottony and gave my other shiny key to Traceful since he didn't get any, and he got himself a shiny Bastiodon. We took a look at the Raichu hunt, which was way harder than the Pikachu hunt, but then thought maybe we shouldn't. We went our separate ways, and I started battling this world boss all on my own. I racked up 69 kills on it by myself, and took a great look at my team to realize I was missing a key element, which was Pumpkaboo, my favorite Pokemon. I spent the night hunting where it should spawn, and instead defeated not 1, but 2 Mega Boss Venusaurs. And still no Pumpkaboo. Checking my Pokédex again, I was close to getting the next reward, so I thought why not, and went across dimensions, catching Pokemon with relative ease. Finally getting 20% completion on my Pokédex, and 3 random TMs from the Master Crate, which kinda sucked. But hey, this time I participated in a world boss with actual people by my side, and together we were able to take it down and get an Ultra Key as my reward, which just gave me more tokens. Still though, I felt my team really improved, so I went on to challenge the Battle Tower one more time, this time getting higher than before, but I still ended up losing. This wasn't all bad, as today I found a wild Pumpkaboo. Sorry Celebi, but my priorities were in order. I also took a trip back to the airship I found way earlier, and thought I had what it took to take down N. It turns out that I still didn't have the team, so just out of pettiness, I beat up all other plasma grunts on the airship. Traveling back to the marketplace, I crafted myself a fire orb, and also bought myself a shrine in order to summon Moltres. Since I still needed to catch one more legendary Pokemon, not counting Celebi since it's technically a mythical. All I had to do now was beat up 375 Pokemon, which of course takes a very long time. But I was able to fill it up and summon Moltres. With all that time spent, I just threw a Master Ball and finally had 3 legendary Pokemon. For some reason, when I logged on today, I was all alone, so I used this to my advantage and got first place in a Pokemon event. I ended up getting lots of money and used this to buy myself some level balls, and thought, yeah, why not use these and get 30% of the Pokédex completed. I mean, I do get a random shiny Pokemon as my reward, and we know that anything is possible. So I had to hunt in really obscure places for Pokemon I haven't caught yet. Oh look, a shiny Miltank. But anyways, I caught 30% of the Pokédex and got another shiny key. I had high hopes for this one and got myself a shiny Hitmonlee, which honestly wasn't the worst Pokemon out there. With my team basically all set, I thought I'd give it another go and battle some gym leaders. Although I lost, I was pretty close with the Bug Gym as I defeated at least half of its team. After that, I wanted to get myself a Meltan. The materials were quite expensive, but I entered the Nether and started mining for ancient debris. It took a while to gather all the ancient debris, and luckily I could just buy the Nether Star, but unfortunately it seemed that the mystery box was banned on the server. To be fair, it does balance things out, otherwise players would have a million Meltans. But suddenly this world boss Regigigas spawned, so I tried to take it down, but I was all alone. So after defeating it a few times, I made my way back to the other gym leaders and tried to take them down again. It did not go so well, but hey, someone else took down the boss, and I got myself a free boss key. I did end up getting another shiny Pokemon. Now with only a few days left, I thought I'd give fishing a shot, hoping that I could fish either a Greninja with Battle Bond or Protein. The rarest Pokemon I fished up was probably the Swampert, but that's about it. In preparation for the final battle, I started building the arena. I really liked how it turned out and was ready to beat my rival. So to prepare, I went on a gym leader gauntlet, trying my best to take down the strongest NPC trainers on the entire server. Not only did this help me strategize to take down some strong Pokemon, but it also gave me a reminder that these gym leaders were just way too strong. I mean, just look at some of the Pokemon I had to go up against. After going 0 for 18, I only had 1 day left to look back on how far I came since the beginning. I was confident I was gonna be Traceful, so I let the day tick over, until finally, it was time for the final battle. Come on, do that tech! Jeez!
Absolutely cooked, mate.
Shoo! Yeah, that was just wiped out. Woo! I'm switching my Pokemon. Go, Pumpkaboo!
Are we allowed to use potions and that?
You just revived your Pokemon! What the heck? Let's go! Is this your last Pokemon?
Oh wait!
Dang it! What the heck? This is not fair anymore. Yes.
There you go.
The most scuffed battle.
GG.
And just like that, I have beaten my rival and completed all my challenges. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more 100-day videos. Everybody knows how strong legendary Pokemon are, so that's why I decided to spend 100 days using only legendary Pokemon, so that I could become the strongest Pokemon trainer on Cobblemon Islands. But in order to prove myself, I would need to complete these 3 goals. First, we need to get a full team of legendary Pokemon and get them all to level 100. And then use that team to take down the server owner on day 100. Will I be able to complete these goals and become the ultimate legendary trainer on Cobblemon Islands? Watch till the end to find out. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, since I'm going to give away a free Minecraft account to one of my subscribers in the spirit of Christmas. Without further ado, let's start our adventure. Now, you can't choose legendary Pokemon as starter Pokemon. However, the server owner was kind enough to offer me a chance. A chance to spin this wheel full of every single legendary Pokemon to decide what my starter would be, which ended up being Groudon. Now, before entering the Sun Realm, I talked to my friends who turned into NPCs and as a result earned some EXP candy. Since I was only gonna have Groudon for a while, I used it all to level him up to level 59. I knew how rough the night could be, with mobs spawning at night, so I wanted to prepare myself fast by gathering materials for a base. I was then stopped by the server owner who gave me one more gift, which was a plushie set of me that I thought looked super cool. Anyways, once I found a nice plot of land, I started building my house while also fending off against the mobs of the night. Not gonna lie, it doesn't look the best, but we always have time to change and expand. But for now, I wanted to mine underground and get myself some armor for when I wanted to go into the nether. Luckily, I found so many diamonds really fast and was actually able to get full diamond armor already. So I thought, why not just go and mine for some obsidian and make myself a nether portal? Initially, I only wanted to go in and scan the area, but I ended up stumbling upon a custom structure. I wasn't too familiar with this area, but what really threw me for a loop was when this blaze started shooting fireworks at me. Not only was there custom structures, but custom mobs too. I ran around looting as much as I could without dying, and then ran away back to my base to store all of my valuables. Now that I've done some exploring, it was time to hunt for legendary Pokemon, and I was told fishing would be the easiest since I could fish for legendaries such as Walking Wake or even Suicune. But not gonna lie, fishing was kinda boring, so after a while I ended up sleeping for that night, and when I woke up the next day, something unexpected happened. The house I had built was taken from me by some random player, but for some reason I could still interact with everything and even saw that my items were still in the chest. This made me pretty upset, and I was now stuck with a moral dilemma. At first, I was just gonna leave the house alone and just let them take over it, but then I realized I spent like 3 Minecraft days gathering the materials and building it, and that was enough for me to deconstruct every single block I had placed, leaving only the bare minimum, which to be fair, did not belong to me. I then ran as far as I could in search of a new fishing area, and built myself a large fishing dock, and continued fishing for legendaries in this new place. But also, I remembered there was a kit at spawn that I could claim, which would give me tons of items, including a Master Ball. This would mean that I could catch whatever legendary Pokemon I fish up without any problems. Well, except for the fact that I was just not fishing up any legendaries at all. I even tried to fish at this public area for better luck, but it was just no use. As I was slowly losing hope, suddenly the screen flashed with text. The legendary Pokemon Tinglu had actually spawned on me. What I didn't know was that this was extremely lucky, as outside of fishing, legendaries only spawn once every 5 hours. I wasted no time and threw my Master Ball at it, and now had a team of 2 legendary Pokemon. Overfilled with joy, I built myself another base to store my items in, and then traveled back to spawn where I would open up both Vote crates and Poke crates, luckily scoring myself another Master Ball. I was also greeted by a server manager who ended up giving me this key which belonged to the new crate available on the server. For a legendary trainer like me, I really needed this Lugia chair, which doubled as a wearable hand. While still at spawn, I found this end portal, and as soon as I jumped in, I was transported into a custom end biome. I walked around for a while, but the end biome was just a bit too broken up to really travel in, so I decided to just warp into the nether. And as you can see in the chat, I typed a command that would show me the spawn time of the last legendary Pokemon. This is important as a legendary Pokemon only spawns once every 5 hours, and in this case, the next legendary was spawning in 40 minutes. So I just had to get lucky and hope it would spawn on me. Since the nether was a dangerous place, I needed to build myself a temporary shelter as I wait for the time to pass. Unfortunately, the legendary did not spawn on me, so I went back into the end dimension, and you might be wondering why. Well, even though it takes 5 hours for legendary Pokemon to spawn, It is different in each dimension, as when I checked in the end, it said it would only spawn in a few minutes. So I stayed in the end in hopes it would spawn on me, but what happened next kind of confused me. I was unexpectedly kicked out of the game at the exact moment the legendary spawned. This really frustrated me, as I waited an entire hour just to be disconnected at the most important moment. So I took my frustrations out by dropping my character in the void multiple times, until I sadly made my way back to the fishing dock, continue fishing for Walking Wake. And fishing I did, but as more time passed, I really got bored. Because let's be real, who really likes fishing? So I hesitantly returned into the end dimension for a chance at redemption. The next legendary Pokemon would spawn soon, and I was not gonna waste that opportunity. Now, sadly, the recording kinda got corrupted, but you really didn't miss much. I was unlucky, the legendary did not spawn on me, you know, the usual. But I decided to continue hunting in the overworld, and this would be harder as more people were in this dimension, meaning the odds were stacked against me. But trust me when I say that subscribing to me increases my legendary luck and might even increase yours. Okay, enough with the self-promo. But hey, would you look at that? The legendary Zekrom actually spawned on me. So, you know, who knows, maybe subscribing does work? But anyways, I ended up using my last Master Ball on it as I did not want to risk losing the encounter, and now I had 3 legendary Pokemon. Also, when I returned to spawn, there was this advent calendar thing for Christmas. Luckily for me, my reward today was a free Master Ball. I didn't really do much this day, but I did take a deeper look into the models for each legendary I've caught so far. But hey, I could not look at them forever, as there were still more legendaries to be caught. So I continued fishing in hopes of finally getting Walking Wake. But my luck was at an all-time low, and if I fished anymore, I would be in shambles. However, what I did not know was that all of this fishing actually helped me earn a lot of money, as every time you kill a Pokemon, you get a few coins, and every time I fished up a Pokemon, I would always kill it for a few extra coins. I quickly checked the GTS and realized I wasn't far off from being able to buy this Articuno, but there was only one issue. It would be off the GTS in just 28 minutes. That means I had to find a way to make money fast. And my idea was to take part in a Poke Hunt, where you hunt for a specific Pokemon, and in my case, I had to catch Sneasel in a Verdant Pokeball. That would be pretty easy, except I've never seen a Sneasel in Cobblemon before, so I decided to try a harder tier, and oh my god, I had to catch a Tatsugiri in a Park Ball. That is the equivalent of a Master Ball, and yeah, that was just not gonna happen. So I tried looking for Sneasel, but alas, the timer ended and Articuno wasn't in the GTS anymore. All I could really do at this moment was shamefully walk back to the fishing dock and continue fishing. Finally, after beating up tons of water-type Pokemon, I had enough money to actually buy a legendary Pokemon off the GTS. Although the Articuno was listed again, I decided to choose the Thundurus, which was worth around the same amount. The model for Thundurus looked amazing, and I was just very happy to earn another legendary Pokemon. But Thundurus would be more useful than I would have expected, because I'm actually able to fly using Thundurus, making traveling super easy. So what better than to travel to a dimension where legendary Pokemon would spawn in and start flying around in hopes that it would spawn on me. Sadly, the Heatran that spawned wasn't in my biome, but I did not give up. Thundurus allowed me to easily navigate through the rough terrains of the Nether, and although I missed another Nether spawn, the end was a game changer, as I was able to fly my way through the end dimension, avoiding all of the dangers and even finding an end city which was already looted. But out of nowhere, text filled the screen once again as Deoxys spawned right next to me. I was extremely excited to catch Deoxys, as this would be my 5th legendary Pokemon. So to celebrate how far we've come, I used up all the leftover EXP candy I earned from claiming the kits before and spent it on the entire team, first getting my starter Groudon to level 100 and then continuing till every single legendary was level 100 now. With a lot of time left and not really needing to worry about the last legendary, I decided to remake my house since it looked really bad. So I took the time to find a new area and started remaking my house, and honestly, huge shoutouts to my girlfriend for sitting in call with me, basically coaching me through the entire building process. I was able to turn this square shack into an actually good looking Minecraft house, and now there was only one thing left to do. I returned back to the fishing dock once again, but this time I threw my rod to the ground in retaliation. I was just done with fishing, okay? It sucks, I hate it, and thanks to Thunderous, I can just travel around very easily. I started by walking around in the Nether, as I saw that a legendary would spawn here soon. However, you know my luck. A Groudon spawned and it wasn't even on me. So that didn't matter anyways. It would have been a duplicate legendary, but in hopes of getting a unique legendary, I wandered around the end, finding even more empty end cities. But as I was walking around, suddenly the last legendary Pokemon I needed spawned, and it was Palkia. What sets this aside from all the legendaries I've caught is that I did not have a Master Ball for this encounter. This was really bad, as I only had a stack of Ultra Balls in my inventory, and there was always the risk of taking too long and having Palkia despawn. So I knew I had to do something different. I switched into Deoxys and used Knockoff, which almost killed Palkia. As my heart sank deeper in my chest, finally the Ultra Ball clicked. I had caught the last legendary Pokemon I needed for my challenge. I had done it. With my happiness at an all-time high, I used up the last of my rare candies, and now I had a team full of level 100 legendary Pokemon. The only thing I needed to do now was beat the server owner on day 100. So I used my newfound freedom to start exploring the world of Cobblemon, even participating in another Poke Hunt for a Stantler caught in a Safari Ball. This shouldn't be too hard. However, I already failed my first throw, and well, I had no more money to buy more Safari Balls, so it seems my focus shifted to making more money. I listed a few rare candies on the GTS for a fair amount, and realized I could sell certain items to the server store. The gas tier stood out the most as it sold for 1200 coins per piece, so off I went hunting in the Nether. But instead of finding a ghast, I stumbled upon this pipe structure, the same structure I found in just the first few days of my adventure. The loot in here was basically just leftover junk, but I did end up finding the special blaze, which last time it absolutely destroyed me. However, I was fully prepared to take it on this time. We traded a few blows here and there, and eventually I dealt the final blow. Swiftly moving on, I found a bastion. I tried to route it as best as I could, but honestly I'm not a speedrunner, so I had no idea where to go. I found a few chests with actual items in it, but still had no idea if this was a truly looted bastion or not. My doubts would be cleared later on, as I found a stacked chest that coincidentally contained multiple Safari Balls. Thankfully, this was just enough to where I could capture Stantler in a Safari Ball, completing my first ever Poke Hunt. Since my first Poke Hunt went well, I decided to go for another, and this time I had to hunt for a male Swinub and catch it in a repeat ball. Finding the right biome took a while, and I even found a pillager tower, which actually had decent loot, before finally finding a Swinub. Sadly, I failed my hunt because apparently you can't buy repeat balls from the shop, so I really had no way to catch the Swinub. With only a few more days left, I thought it would be fun to try shiny hunting for a random Pokemon. So I started off by getting a catch chain on a Mareep, as that was the first Pokemon I saw. However, after only catching 2 of them, I could not find any more after that. So I ended up switching my Pokemon to Lechonk, and got yet another chain of 2 captures, but just like Mareep, I could not find any more after that. This all changed, however, when I found this weird biome that was fortunately filled with Bidoofs. I caught more than 2, and had the chain actually built up, the more Bidoofs I caught in a row, the higher my shiny odds were. Eventually, I built up my shiny odds to 1 in 512, which was seemingly the max amount that I could increase it to. All that was left to do now was to run around aimlessly and just pray that a shiny Bidoof would spawn. But while running around, a subscriber of mine actually found me on the server. Huge shoutouts to Yarny for actually subscribing to the channel. Anyways, I spent too long shiny hunting, and unfortunately, I was out of time. Day 100 was finally here, and it was time to have my final battle against the server owner. Alright, so yeah, day 100. Finally, we're here. And well, there's Diablo Turtle. We have a few spectators. Okay, I cannot mess this up. Otherwise, it's gonna be embarrassing. My Groudon versus his Regidrago. I'm gonna go for Earthquake here. Ooh, that does a huge chunk of damage. Let's go. I kill his Regidrago. Woo! I'll be honest, I can't really see this battle because of Groudon, so I have to move a bit. Oh, he sends out Great Tusk. Let's hit with Lava Plume. Oh, that almost kills. Oh, it was a critical hit. Let's go. Oh my goodness, Regieleki, this is the fastest Pokemon. Okay, it's an electric type. I might Earthquake this. I don't know. Oh! He sends out Ursaluna. Wait, I have to get a close-up on that. Oh, it looks so cool, bro. Let's actually switch out here. I think that's a ground type. So let's switch out to Palkia over here. And we're actually going to use Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump hits and it destroys Ursaluna. Let's go. Let's actually send out Zekrom, bro. This is my favorite legendary that we have on our team. Like, bro, this guy looks amazing, okay? We might have to Ancient Power here. Nope, Zekrom dies. So let's just send out Deoxys here. Okay, Deoxys. Oh, Deoxys lives by 3 HP. Extreme Speed, and I win. Hey, I defeat his Oh, wait. Oh. Wait, there was one more. Oh my goodness. No, Deoxys dies. Cinderace goes down to my Palkia, right? Oh my god, it used Bounce. It used Bounce. Okay. So Cinderace just used Bounce. So we're going to switch out to Tinglu. It's a 2-turn attack. It bounced onto Tinglu. Well, now I'm paralyzed. Okay, so we'll use Earthquake. And, oh, we just one-shot Cinderace. Oh, okay. Well, we were just faster. And, yeah, I guess we won. Well, that was 100 days using only legendary Pokemon. It was a journey. And, yeah. Subscribe. In this video, I will be spending 100 days in Cobblemon, but I can only use shiny Pokemon. Shiny Pokemon are incredibly rare and have a 1 in 8,000 chance of spawning, and it is my mission to complete these quests to become the ultimate shiny hunter. First, I'll get a full team of shiny Pokemon, get them all to level 100. I'd like to also get myself a shiny legendary Pokemon, and finally beat the server owner on day 100. Can I complete all of my goals in just 100 days? Well, let's find out. To start my adventure off, I entered the Moon Realm. With the shiny starter I chose, Totodile. I dropped into a forest where I started to punch down these birch trees. I knew that night would come around and many mobs would spawn, so I wanted to build a house really fast. It took me a while to build my house, but I really liked how it turned out in the end. Now that I had a place to call home, I went out into the wild and started battling wild Pokemon to level up my Totodile. It wasn't too long until I could evolve it into Croconaw. While I was in the wild, I noticed a couple of Wurmples, so I started capture chaining them, which would increase the odds of a Shinal Wurmple spawning. But after a while, I noticed there were no more Wurmples, but a lot more Mankeys, so I switched my focus and continued to build the chain, eventually reaching the limit with my shiny odds at 1 in 512 for a shiny Mankey to spawn. All I was doing now was running around in the wild, hoping for one to spawn. However, this was taking quite some time, so I took a little break and opened these crates that spawned, luckily getting myself a Master Ball in the process. When I went back to my house, I claimed some rewards in my mailbox I had received at some unknown time, but it did give me some rare candies, which I can use to level up my Croconaw, getting it to evolve into Feraligatr. I also claimed my Captain Kit at spawn, getting so many items. But now it was time to resume my hunt for the elusive shiny Mankey, and it wouldn't be for another few days that I finally come across it in all of its glory. Finally being able to have another shiny Pokemon on my team and finishing this hunt. I spent some time leveling up Mankey in the wild until I was able to evolve it into Primeape. I also took a look at the Pokemon marketplace and saw a few shinies on sale, but they were just really expensive. Now, one of the ways to earn money on the server is to actually beat up wild Pokemon, so I just did that for a couple of hours and finally had enough money to buy the cheapest shiny Pokemon, which was Ariados. Primeape also learned a new attack called Rage Fist, which reminded me that he could evolve into Annihilape using this move. I just didn't know how. So I ended up using it on wild Pokemon until it just said that he could evolve, and now I had a shiny Annihilape, which looked incredible. Going back to spawn, they had this end portal you could just enter, and honestly, it was absolutely crazy in the end. I decided to come back here later, and instead set my sights for the Nether. Here I found a lot of Ghastly spawning, so I decided to shiny hunt them in hopes for a shiny Ghastly. While I was in the Nether, I also found this Bastion, which did not go well at all, so let's just skip to the part where I actually find and catch shiny Ghastly, getting myself 4 shiny Pokemon already. Thankfully, I could already evolve Ghastly into Haunter, and now needed to craft myself a link cable stone to evolve it once more, since I had no friends. All I needed now was some iron and copper, and I could already craft the link cable stone to get my Haunter to evolve into a shiny Gengar. Logging into Cobblemon today, the mod pack updated, adding in voice chat. I was able to talk with a mod called Decker and ask them what Pokemon I should shiny hunt.
One of my favorite Pokemons is shiny Gardevoir, so shiny Ralts.
So it seems like I'm gonna hunt for a shiny Ralts, but there was only one problem. In a single day, I found only 1 Ralts. Therefore, I could never build any sort of chain, and my odds were always stuck at 1 in 8,000. Appropriately, I quit this hunt as Ralts was too rare of a Pokemon, and for some reason, while I was at my house, the server owner was here. He kinda just stood there for a while before tossing me a book and skedaddling away. Written in this book was a set of challenges for a special reward. Well, looks like I got some questing to do. Starting off with the first quest, which was catching myself a shiny fire-type Pokemon. I knew the Nether had a lot of fire types, and it seemed that Sizzlipede was spawning quite a bit, so I continued to create a chain for that. I was actually able to increase my odds to the limit, and found a shiny Sizzlipede not too long after. I also used some of my rare candies back home to get it to evolve into Centiskorch. I then moved back to the Nether, where a fortress was right next to me, in hopes of farming some Wither Skulls to fight the Wither for one of my challenges. But suddenly, I got a notification of a raid starting. However, my team needed to be over level 85 to participate, so I used some EXP candies I had to level up my team and warped around just trying to find the location of this raid. But after a while, it was just too late, and it didn't help that I was tricked by this glitched raid boss that didn't work at all. Sadly, I returned back to the fortress and just continued hunting. But an hour later, another raid started, and this time I was in the right location and ready to participate. I was up against this mega boss Tyranitar. Now, I didn't really deal that much damage to it, but I did fight in a raid, and so I could tick one task off my list. Now for the next few days, I was a part of this Cobblemon Hunger Games event, and this might be a video in the future, but I'll be honest, I didn't do the best, but it was a super fun event overall. Once the event concluded, I actually had a lot of money that was given to me by Justin, and using my hard-earned money, I bought myself all the Wither Skulls I needed, which was all of them because I was very unlucky. I gathered the soul sand from the Nether too, but before I spawned the Wither, I went down into the mines and mined myself a lot of diamonds, getting myself a full set of armor. After buying some golden apples, I was prepared to fight the Wither. All I did was run and bow down the Wither, but that was enough to chip its health down, ultimately killing it with my sword after just a few hits, and just like that, I completed another task. I also used the Nether Star to craft myself a beacon just because it looked kinda cool. But now it was time to finish the final challenge by camping in the Nether since a legendary Pokemon would spawn here soon. And after AFKing for a while, I went out to walk around since it should have spawned already. It wasn't until an entire hour later that I encountered the legendary Pokemon Chi-Yu. Without hesitation, I threw my Master Ball and finally finished all of the tasks. But before I could claim my special reward, a Mega Gengar boss raid started, and this was my chance to get a Gengar Mega Stone. I participated in the raid doing pretty decent, but in the end I checked my raid rewards and saw that I actually got a Gengar Mega Stone. This would allow me to Mega Evolve my shiny Gengar. With my team heavily improved, I fought the hardest NPC trainer on the server. It didn't help that I had some weak Pokemon, but I did get destroyed unfortunately and could only rebattle once every 24 more hours. I also ended up talking to Justin with voice chat, and he was kind enough to give me more money, which I used on the marketplace to buy myself a shiny Swellow, getting a full team of shiny Pokemon in the process. I wanted to use some EXP candies to level up my entire team. However, I got kicked out into the lobby, which reset my Pokemon's levels back, which was really frustrating. But hey, at least while fighting this trainer at spawn, I learned how to actually Mega Evolve. Now I can see Mega Gengar in all its glory. Outside of my house, I found a chest. This had to be my special reward. Inside, I found a book? Hey, isn't that a discount code? That's right, I have partnered with Rocketnode, where you can get dedicated Minecraft servers for affordable prices. And by using code Nintendo at checkout, you can get yourself 25% off whatever you buy. You can click the link in the description or the pinned comment to get even more information. But anyways, now that we're back, I opened up the chest again to find a lot of keys, EXP candies, and Master Balls. There was also this unsigned book, and in it were a set of new challenges that seemed a lot more difficult to do. But before I do anything, I used up all of my crate keys, getting a lot of money, and even got my favorite Pokemon ever, Pumpkaboo, in this plush crate. I used the EXP and rare candies to level up my entire team to level 100, except for Ariados though, as it was kind of the weakest Pokemon I had in my team and wanted to replace it soon. But hey, a Tyranitar raid was starting, and I got to test out my team against it, doing much better than I ever did on a raid. But now the real challenge was going up against these NPC trainers. If I could beat one of them on this island, I could get myself a Z Crystal to finish my new quest. But these trainers were just way too strong for me, and realistically, I needed to change things up. And yes, I'm looking at Ariados over here. But before I could do anything, new raids were just starting out of nowhere. I even got to participate in this rare legendary raid, being able to catch myself a Regieleki. As cool as it was, unfortunately, it wasn't a shiny, so I couldn't use it. One more raid later, I talked to this NPC at spawn who took me into the Safari Zone. I also bought myself a shiny boost here to increase my odds of finding a shiny Pokemon. The Safari Zone had a lot of Pokemon spawning, especially Pokemon I have never seen before. Unfortunately though, my time ran out and I wasn't able to find anything. So I took my shiny hunting elsewhere and started chaining Abra in the end dimension. I was able to catch enough to maximize my odds, and also during my hunt, I was battling in not one but two legendary raids. Of course, I couldn't catch them because I could not break my Abra chain, and well, just continued hunting in the end. But honestly, after a few hours, I had enough and just decided to buy this shiny Swinub I found on the marketplace and use that to replace Ariados, as well as getting it to evolve into Piloswine and then Mamoswine. Now I set my sights on terrestrializing a Pokemon, and to do that, I would need a Terra Orb. The recipe was not cheap at all, but I at least got to buy the Echo Shards off the marketplace. However, I needed to mine for the netherite, which you can only find in the nether, so I spent most of my time mining for ancient debris, until I gathered enough scraps to make all the necessary netherite ingots. Oh yeah, and I crafted the black stained glass, and all that was left to do was to find a nice area to fight the Wither at. And yes, I bought these Wither Skulls again, damaging my bank account, but at the very least I could relive my fight and get myself another nether star. I brought back all the materials and was finally able to craft myself a Terra Orb. This would allow me to terrestrialize my Pokemon, finally finishing one of my tasks. Now, I did try to fight the trainers on this island for Z Crystals again, only to lose as badly as the last time. But after a Groudon raid, I got this red orb, which is actually an extremely rare item, and I was able to trade this with another player for both a Water Z Crystal and a Z Ring, allowing me to finally use Z moves. Now all I had to do was beat the Battle Bond expert, so I battled him one more time, and although it was close, I did end up losing and had to wait another 24 hours to fight him again. I also went to the Safari Zone again, flying around hoping to find any shiny Pokemon, but even with the shiny boost and the insane spawns, I wasn't able to find anything. But at least I did this cool dinner bone trick on my Pokemon, which looked kind of funny. Now I spent the beginning of this day fighting in another raid, and honestly honestly, I liked raids a lot, and so did most of the players on this server. So to give back, I bought a couple of raid vouchers from the store, which would allow me to start raids whenever I wanted. And honestly, I had a blast, giving back to this wonderful community, and having a lot of fun at the same time. Of course, all these raids took such a long time to get through, but doing all those raids got me a lot of tokens. And I didn't know this, but apparently you could use these tokens to turn a Pokemon into its shiny form. Thankfully, Sheena gave me a Ralts, and now I can turn it into a shiny Ralts. I invited over Decker the mod, who if you don't remember, asked me to get a shiny Ralts a couple days ago, and now I decided to give it to him as a present. That's my good deed of the day. Now, I only had time to fight the Battle Bond expert one last time, so I was really hoping to defeat it to finish my quest. Unfortunately, they were down to their last Pokemon, but I ended up losing, meaning I could not finish my quest in time, unless I just lie and say I did it. After messaging the server owner, I opened up my PC box and found my special reward, which ended up being the shiny legendary Pokemon Deoxys. Oh, and I got some exclusive armor from the owner as well, which looks absolutely incredible. But seeing how there were only a few days left, I decided to go on one last shiny hunt for a shiny unknown, since I really like the blue in its color. No matter how hard I tried to search through the end, I did not find the shiny unknown in time. But to cheer me up, I bought some of these new crate keys they added on the server, and I was lucky enough to get myself a random legendary Pokemon, which ended up being a Zacian. But now, it was day 100, and it was time to have my final battle with the server owner. After 100 days, we are finally here. Our battle with the server owner. Will I win? I don't know, but I forged this team over 100 days. I think we can do it. And now the battle has started. Ooh, he sent out Raichu against my Feraligatr. Okay, I think I'm gonna switch out to Mamoswine here. I have the advantage here with my typing, so I will use Earthquake. Come on. Oh, wait, he's switching out. Oh, he switched out to Chi-Yu. Oh, but Earthquake just killed it anyways. All right, so we took down one of his Pokemon. Oh, he sent out another one. What is that? Iron Treads. I can just Earthquake this. And it's gone. All right, Mamoswine is carrying. Let's go, Mamoswine. All right, he sent out Deoxys. I will try to Ancient Power this, I guess. See if that does anything. Oh, that does, like, nothing. Ooh, but he does nothing on me either. I'm just hoping for a lot of damage here. Oh, but I missed. Come on. Mamoswine's slacking. How could he miss, by the way? He's, like, right in front of him. Oh, I hit him. Did a lot of damage. Oh, but he did a lot of damage to me too. All right, maybe we go for Ancient Power again. Oh, he used Counter and failed? Like, what is this guy doing? I hit him with... Oh, I didn't even hit him. I just died. Let's go with Swellow. All right, I'm going to hit it with Aerial Ace. This move just does not miss ever. Do I hit it? Oh, I almost kill it. Oh, he hits my Swellow. Aerial Ace. Let's go. He sent out Raichu. Oh, no. I'm just going to quick attack. There's no way I live. I am flying and he's electric. Can I hit it? Wow, I did so much damage. What? So he has an electric type. Let's not send out Feraligatr. Instead, we'll send out my own shiny Deoxys. Let's use... I don't know what Psycho Boost is. We'll use that. Now, I have Deoxys speed form, which means I might be faster than his little Raichu over here. Wait, I hit it. Oh, I didn't kill it. It's on 5%. Oh, Deoxys is almost dead. Oh, this was like the worst choice ever. I can kill it with extreme speed because I do believe that goes first. Yep, I kill it. And now is down to his last Pokemon? Wow, that is a shiny Iron Jugulus. Wait, his team is entirely shiny Pokemon as well. I just noticed that. Psychic maybe? It does nothing. Psychic type moves do like nothing against it. Okay, Annihilate, go. Come on. I'm feeling an outrage. Wow, okay. All that and it only did like 40% and it's about to die. Oh, I'm locked in outrage. Annihilate, no. At least it weakened it. Wait, I still have a chance. Annihilate? Annihilate, yes. Oh wait, he has one more Pokemon. Oh, my bad. Oh, he has Lugia. Oh, I'm actually cooked. I actually don't know if I can beat Lugia. What happened? Oh, I hit it. I actually hit the Lugia. What? He used Sky Attack. Oh, wait, that means he's gonna hit me next turn. Oh, I'm dead. I think I'm gonna send my starter out for this one. Let's end this for Alligator. Let's use Ice Fang on this Lugia. Okay, he hit me. Ice Fang? Oh, wait, if he doesn't kill me this turn, I win. Does he kill me? What happened? What? He didn't even do anything. What? I just killed him. Wait. For Alligator! Let's go! Oh, we beat the server owner. Let's go. Oh, he's got fireworks. Oh, it's like he knew I would beat him. Let's go. Subscribe. I'm gonna spend 100 days in Pixelmon, but I can only use Ghost-type Pokemon. Oh, and this won't be like any other 100-day video, as I'm joined by other YouTubers with only one goal in mind, to see who can get the highest score on the Warzone leaderboards. Will my Ghost-type Pokemon prevail and take me to first place? Watch the rest of the video to find out. Anyways, let's start our journey. For the first day, I was joined by Cyrud, Arpus, and Wilson, where we each chose our favorite Pokemon typing, and you'll see why this plays an important role in the future. Since I chose Ghost types, my starter Pokemon was Rowlet, as it later evolves into Decidueye. Once we chose our starters, we decided to start the first challenge, to see who can evolve their starter fully the fastest. I immediately started battling wild Pokemon, and had a major advantage since Rowlet evolved early on compared to the other starters. However, Rowlet's moves has proved to be difficult on the early battles, causing me to fall behind. Eventually, Rowlet evolved into Dartrix, making all the difference as I was able to battle higher level Pokemon and have access to better moves, making a comeback for myself. And thanks to Cyrud accidentally canceling his evolution, I was able to evolve my Dartrix into Decidueye, getting 3rd overall. I wonder what Cyrud has to say about that.
He's level 36 and he didn't evolve! There was no prompt to even cancel it! Oh my gosh!
You see, depending on our placement, we each got Pixelmon Lucky Blocks to open up. I concluded this eventful day by using the specific Pokemon paper I picked up earlier and redeeming myself an Aegislash. Starting the next stream, we each challenged ourselves to spend an hour catching Pokemon of our respective typing, and then having a little tournament at the end. Also, for those of you still confused, Cyrud can only use Fire-type Pokemon, Arpus can only use Water types, and Wilson can only use Dark types. Hope that clears any confusion in the future. Anyways, moving forward, I set out into the wilds looking for more Ghost-type Pokemon. The first I caught was a Bramblin, more so for insurance in case I did not get a full team in time. But once I warped into the Nether, I started catching several Ghost-type Pokemon, and even evolved my Ghastly into a Haunter, which I was then able to evolve into Gengar. Also, if you're enjoying the video so far, we're so close to 40,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. With only a minute to spare, my awesome friend Leaf gave me another specific Pokemon paper, which I used to claim Fluttermane. I also quickly made a trade for a shiny Jellicent and a Golett, which I did pay for. Although my team might look great, do not get too attached to any of them, as in the Warzone, I can lose a Pokemon every time I'm defeated in a Pokemon battle. But that's for future me. Right now, our tournament was starting, and I was up against Arpus. I was able to put up a good enough fight, but unfortunately lost. I was then against the other loser, Wilson, who naturally defeated me easily since his Dark types were just much stronger than my Ghost types. Sadly, this meant I did get last for this little challenge, but look at that, it was a new day, meaning a new chance to finally win one of these challenges, and today we introduced another YouTuber joining late to the party, Poor Jay, who chose to use only Fairy type Pokemon. Although joining late, he was determined to win. Our challenge for today was to clear as many of these bingo squares as possible. If I won this challenge, I could possibly get a legendary Ghost type Pokemon to help me out. I was actually doing pretty good, clearing up a lot of spaces, and in the end, I was actually in 2nd place. Finally, we came together to measure our Pokemon for the final space, where the biggest Pokemon wins, which Arpus was able to get. However, I had the chance to do the funniest thing ever, so I gave Poor Jay one of my points, making Arpus last in the challenge, and allowing me to share 2nd place with Cyrud. Of course, shoutouts to Wilson for winning this challenge too. I received a Mystic Crate key as my reward, which did not really help in any way. Wilson, Jay, and I then ran around spawn, collecting treasure chests everywhere for great rewards, which also gave me enough to warp into our exclusive shop area where I was able to buy myself a rare lucky block. We then met back up to open our lucky blocks together. Although we got a lot of good Pokemon, unfortunately none of them were ghost types. Luckily, I had another chance at redemption as we continue with another challenge for today, which was catching a full rainbow Pokemon team. Once we met up, we set out for our challenge, where I had a shaky start, only catching my first Pokemon, a pink Clefairy, 5 minutes in. But I continued trying my best to fill out the rest of the colors on the chart, and I ended up in 3rd place. However, there was one last bit left, and that was battling with our rainbow team, which I completely forgot about. My Pokemon kinda sucked, but I was up against Arpus first. At this point, we've had some beef going on. He beat me in the second challenge, I robbed him and made him last on the other challenge. However, I knew I wanted to beat him here to settle the score, and luckily my last Pokemon, Tyranitar, clutched it out and destroyed Arpus, allowing me to advance. Although I did lose my next battle against Wilson, I was able to get some great items to help me build a strong Ghost-type team. Even though I didn't get any Ghost-type Pokemon from the Lucky Blocks, I can always sell them to earn money for the future. Having done nothing but challenges so far, me and Wilson came together to create a community base where we and all of our subscribers can come together to create a little community. And this place will go down in history as the Sky Tree Empire. We made this area using Ultra Trees, which are just trees but slightly bigger. This would be an issue later on as we almost broke the server. But for now, we started inviting our subscribers and expanding our base. Now, a little fun fact is that we gave each member an ultra sapling for them to build their base on, but this might have been a slight oversight on our part. As soon as trees started flooding in and piercing the skies, suddenly our empire was booming and nearly entered cult territories with people chanting our names. The Sky Tree Empire, the Sky Tree Empire. Our trees started looking at the height limit as a suggestion and kept growing past the laws of this world. Eventually, admins had to intervene, but honestly, meeting and being with our subscribers felt very nice. After a while, it was time for the next challenge to start. We met back with everyone else, and it seemed that today we were going to catch Pokemon starting with the letter A all the way down to Z. I haven't won any of these challenges yet, and we're almost about to enter the war zone, so I knew my time to prove myself was ticking away slowly. As soon as the challenge started, I tried my best to beat everyone else. And I'll be honest, this challenge took way too long. Everyone was tired and hated it, but I was over the moon because I finally won! Anyways, I got a shiny Urshifu from my lucky block, which Wilson really wanted since it was a dark type. Being petty as I am, I did not give him the Urshifu. I also had a spare lucky block and actually got Marshadow. This might seem good as it's a ghost type mythical, but the war zone had certain banned Pokemon that cannot enter, and unfortunately Marshadow was one of them. I decided to dedicate the next few days to working on improving my ghost type team. Most I worked on were the movesets, levelings, and getting a few more Pokemon for my team. You see, in the war zone, if you lose, you do lose a Pokemon, so I was preparing spare ghost types just in case I lost. I even started breeding my starter Decidueye a lot because, fun fact, our starters were given with perfect IVs. So by breeding it, I was getting myself an entire army of super powered Rowlets. But yeah, it turns out we weren't actually allowed to do this because, you know, if we kept on losing in Warzone with them, we'd basically be handing out literally perfect Rowlets. With the souls of a whole box of Rowlets on my hand, I started the next day ready to improve my team, and I did the opposite by wasting an hour on fishing for a stupid Basculegion. I decided to get a small dose of serotonin the only way I knew how, which was gambling in Siren's Casino.
7.5k on blue, but here we go. All right, 3, 2, 1. No blue, no blue, no blue, no blue.
Yay!
Are you just leaving while you're ahead, or what's the game plan here?
Fucking risk 10k. I'll put that on red. After successfully robbing the biggest Pixelmon YouTuber, I spent my winnings to get a specific Pokemon paper to finally get the Basculegion I couldn't get earlier, and then finally completed my rare scroll, earning me enough money to buy a rare lucky block, which resulted in another legendary I could not use. The next day, we didn't do much other than team building. I also gathered around with everyone to continue our ongoing gambling addiction. It was nice spending time with everyone, but waking up the next morning, the server updated and added some very cool cool features, including these server raids, which we could do. I also got myself a Hoopa, which I bought from the GTS, and during this time I even got some of my Pokemon to level 100. Finally, we all met back up together to start yet another challenge. This time we spun a wheel of random biomes and can only catch Pokemon in that biome. With my luck, I got a swamp biome, which kind of sounds good. You know, you got Greninja, and yeah, I don't really know. But with only an hour, I'd say I built a pretty good team until I got outclassed by everybody. I got dead last and felt really bad about it. So to clear my head, I took a week-long break until it was Halloween. Yeah, this was all recorded a very long time ago. It was really nice seeing everyone in their special Halloween costume. Also, huge shout outs to my awesome girlfriend for making this amazing skin. We then spent the day looking around the special Halloween hub, and after 20 minutes of looking for Halloween baskets, we each got a few special Halloween crate keys and opened them up to get some Pokemon. We then had more time to train them up until it was time for our little tournament. Sadly, I sucked. Again, getting last place another time. I was just doing so bad at these challenges now. I felt bad for letting me and my subscribers down. I honestly just felt defeated. Even then, I was still able to laugh and enjoy the last few minutes of the day. Before heading to the war zone, we decided to host one last challenge, and this changed everything, as today we became artists and played Scribble.io, where we took turns drawing random Pokemon and everyone else had to guess what we were drawing. This was honestly the most fun I had so far, and it made me really happy. Coming from 0 subscribers all the way to where I was at this moment, I could not be more thankful. I went to bed that day super pumped and excited, as today we were going to go into the war zone for the very first time. All these days were filled with challenges and tasks, lots of grinding and hours spent to forge the best of the best teams for each of our typings, all for the next few days where we aim to get the highest score possible on the war zone leaderboards. I spent a long time prepping my team one last time, which consisted of Runerigus, Cerulege, Aegislash, Rotom, Mimikyu, and Goldengo, until it was time to enter the war zone for the very first time. After running around for a while, I was finally locked into my first battle against someone else using Ghost-type Pokemon, and they had a Blacephalone! This guy had a Ghost-type team that overshadowed mine, and completely dominated me, causing me to not only lose the battle, but also have my Goldengo stolen. My spirits were so low. I just had to spend some time to reflect, and thought it would be best to spend a couple of days using the knowledge I have now to form a better team. Some new members I added were a Hisuian Zoroark, Skeledirge, Alola Marowak, and a Gengar. With all the preparation out of the way, it was time to go back into the war zone and test my skills. I ran around to find a suitable target, trying to avoid Wilson the Dark-type trainer as he was my clear weakness, until I was challenged by a random person who also only used Dark-type Pokemon. Just perfect. Luckily, I prepared backup Pokemon, so I was able to run back in. With an unimpressive record of 0 wins and 2 losses, I would only dig a deeper hole for myself when Wilson found me. With his entire team being super effective against mine, I just got swept. Thankfully, Wilson took and gave me back my Mimikyu, but what he kept was a reputation he took from me. You see, it's not as simple as just stealing a Pokemon, but in the war zone, the winner of a battle gains reputation points, while the loser will lose reputation. Everyone starts off at 1000 reputation, and after my 3 losses, I was down to 976 points, which meant I had a lot of grinding to do if I wanted a shot at first place. Of course, it didn't help when Wilson was being chased down by some random, so he decided to fight me in order to not have to fight the other guy. Of course, the server did end up crashing, so who really won that battle? Also, I don't know what happened here, but we ended up playing Among Us with our stream viewers while the server was fixing itself. As dumb as this was, it was an incredibly fun night. Once the server came back up the next day, I continued grinding, hoping to get my first win. Unfortunately, I lost my first battle, putting me at 4 losses. But determination, right? I was engaged in another battle, and this one felt different. I was actually doing good. I ended up getting my first win, gaining 24 reputation points and stealing a Mimikyu. Now I was only at 958 points. Sadly, I could not continue the win streak as I got destroyed by some guy in their Urshifu, as well as some stranger. Slowly, I was burying a deeper hole for myself. It also didn't help that Wilson battled me again. Thankfully though, I was able to beat one more trainer and even catch a Urshifu roaming around the war zone. But that didn't matter because Wilson battled me again! Seriously, Wilson probably took like 100 reputation points off of me alone! Anyways, my reputation was so low that I only lost 3 points against another guy with a new record of 2 wins and 10 losses. I was slowly becoming the worst Pixelmon player. That's why I knew things had to change. I logged on the second last day of the Warzone season, ready to grind all alone. With a better mindset, I won my first battle and swiftly took down someone else, pushing me back up to 954 reputation. Of course, I did get set back by a few losses today, but I was locked in and actually got multiple wins as well. I finished the stay strong with 923 reputation. Yeah, I had a bit of a losing streak near the end. Feeling frustrated, I put all my hopes onto the final day of the Warzone. Now we only had an hour left until the season ended. I knew this would be my final chance to prove myself to everyone, and honestly, I did not win a single time. I felt defeated, but reflecting back at everything we did, I had a great time hanging out with everyone, as it was my first time I ever streamed and interacted with my subscribers, as well as talking to some of the coolest people ever. We gathered around one last time, sharing our scores.
I can go first if you want. I have a grand total of 1,108 Warzone reputation.
1,084.
1,086.
We're all not ready for this one. I think I broke records here because I did not know reputation could go so low.
My final Warzone reputation comes in
Drum roll!
at 1,134, putting me at first place. Let's go! Come on!
To perfectly wrap up everything, we got together and ended up gambling. A perfect way to end off this video. Thank you everyone for watching and becoming a part of my journey.